things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.
All right. Welcome to another week of Manifestations. What up, fellas?
What up?
What's going on?
We live, man. Can't complain. We good. We blessed. We in the building. A lot of shenanigans going on this week.
Woo! Yes.
Haberdashery and hemoglobin. Shout out to Tony Baker.
So tonight we have an interesting topic for you guys. Let me go ahead and mute you. Yeah, go ahead. All right. So tonight we have an interesting topic, dating preferences, right? So dating preferences, as we know, everybody has preferences of who they want to talk to, who they want to line up with. And sometimes those dating preferences help you get to the next level from single to in a relationship. I mean, single, dating, in a relationship, and then engaged in marriage. That is the pretty much the chain of command and the chain of how you want to go and perceive life, especially with somebody.
Right.
Throughout this whole ordeal, we have a lot of disconnect going on because over the years, a lot of the different generations altered away from the original construct of how we formulated in the household. Now we're seeing a depression or a depreciation or a decline in the households. We're having more single, family oriented households versus what we were dealing with back in the past, where we had multiple facilitated households with dual parents producing better statistics of children than the single family household being raised to this day. And so what we wanted to do was, just to analyze and really break down the different parts of the dating process and also how that can help you to get to the level that you need to get to. And I know this week has been very busy when it comes to um, this week has been very busy when it comes to a lot of the dating experiences and conversations. We have hot topics that came through this week about it, and it has started a rift, right? So you have something where we're out here talking to the people, and a basic conversation takes off and goes left. And because it goes left, now we have another dialogue that created and was inspired out of that whole transition. So we're definitely going to get into that tonight. But dating preferences, for the most part, I'll let these fellas tell you what they basically think the dating preference is and how does it help? Does it help or does it hinder um, your outcome? So that's a question that you have to ask yourself. Is your dating
Mm.
preferences helping or hindering your outcome? And I think it's very important that we understand that so that way we can start to understand and how to link up better with each other because some dating preferences might be more unrealistic than they should be. I think a lot of times we're not thinking in a logical mindset. We're thinking of it in uh, a me opportunity and not even analyzing yourself to see if you are a person that really is a good person. Because a lot of times people think that they are good people. And when you actually unmask yourself, you start to realize that you're not as good as you think you are. You have a
Mm.
lot of issues. And some of those issues might bump heads with other people because they're from the outside looking in and they have a better perspective of what they're observing versus you being biased from the inside looking out. So we definitely want to break that down, but I definitely want to hand it over to you guys and figure out, do you think the dating preferences that a lot of people are having, do you think that they're helping people or they're hindering people? Why or why not?
Hmm. Man, I think that a lot of people, first of all, everyone has dating preferences, right? And so, in that regard, I guess it's kind of a necessary evil, if you will.
Mhm.
Everybody has these things. People don't just, your dating preferences keep you from just jumping into a dating and relationship situation with just anybody. So, in that capacity, I think it's very helpful. It basically represents what your standard is for a person that you will be willing to deal with on a romantic level. Standards are always good. You know what I mean? You should have some type of standard as an individual. Otherwise, you'll just do anything. You'll just do anybody. and that's not healthy and that's never productive. But as far as yeah, some people get a little crazy with it. Some people jump out the window. Now, let me be clear: a person is entitled to have whatever preferences they desire. However, you need to be aware of the blowback of having such preferences, or the potential blowing up in your face, having those preferences can have on you. For instance, we talk a lot in the man community or the manosphere about how, when women are younger, they tend to choose very poorly in terms of the type of guy they want. They want the bad guy. They want the guy with the roughneck image, this, that, and the third. There's an edge to him. He's edgy. He's this, he's that. That's what they want. That's their preference at that time. However, you know, things go left real quick with those type of guys, right? And you can end up, in a situation where you got a child with that guy, you married early, with that particular guy, you caught a charge with that guy. I know women like that, you know, and these type of things never go away. So your preferences can actually harm you as well. And I think that a solution, towards making sure that your preferences don't end up coming to get you later is, just us being well grounded and well informed people regarding the dating atmosphere and the sexual marketplace, if you will. You know, um, this is where OGs come in. This is where even older women, can come in and lace young brothers and sisters with game that can help them navigate through the complex world of dating without ending up in a conundrum. You know what I mean? You got a lot of people in the dating industry, or in the dating game, I should say, that have lives that end up like people who have criminal records. You did something when you were 15, 16 years old, and it haunts you for the rest of your life. It shouldn't be like that. You know what I mean? And I think that as we grow older, we need to be very mindful about being more realistic about our dating expectations. Bobby always talks about buying what you can afford, so to speak, in the dating game. I call it dating within your tier, and you got a lot of people out here of both genders that want this pie in the sky ass person from the other gender when they themselves are not a person who will be equally yoked with that person. They don't have, what it is that they want. You know what I mean? Or they don't have what it is to attract what it is that they want. So we need to be very mindful of the demands that we're making versus what we're offering, or should I say, bringing to the table, as we'll probably talk about a little later in this conversation. The table is a big discussion, and at the end of the day, I just want to say, those of you out there that are, with this laundry list of things that you require and that you demand, what the hell are you bringing that, will invoke that type of person to want to rock with you like that? So it's not that it's unrealistic if it's not unrealistic, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So that there's a lot going on when you start talking about the world of preferences. Some people's preferences will get them the most delightful person and they'll have wonderful lives. And some people's preferences will damn them to hell. You have to kind of learn how to reel yourself in and learn how to manage your preferences sometimes.
Mm,
My 2 cents.
gotcha. And Bobby, what you feel?
Very much in alignment with what Major just said. Preferences are things, and preference isn't a bad thing. Preference isn't a good thing either. I believe that a lot of preference, really, to some extent, is biological, but it's also a lot of environmental factors in that as well too. There's a lot of carryover between what people find attractive or interested in. And if we're honest, if we look at society in general, there's usually a general idea of what preferences are, even when it comes to attraction. A lot of people, especially those who don't necessarily fit the bill, will take issue with it. But when we talk about things like beauty standards for both men and for women, there's a typical prototype of what an attractive woman is in general, and a prototype of what men are attractive in general. And even once we break down society at large, different groups based on race, based on uh, geographical backgrounds, religious backgrounds, different interest groups, those kind of things. Even when we get into those little subcategories, you find preferences and what is attractive, what isn't attractive. It can vary. But overall, when you have a group of people that are doing different things, they're all unique individuals with different backgrounds and experiences. We find, like with anything else, when you come together, there are going to be certain differences, but there are also going to be certain similarities. So that's where we can come up with these ideas of what is the average or what's the baseline for such and such. Most of us can tell what an attractive woman is, even if that's not necessarily our type. We can say, you know what, she might not be my type, but I can tell that she's an average woman. She's an attractive woman. She would be considered attractive. Most of us can say, hey, I may or may not be attracted to this kind of man or men, period, but I know that this is what's typically considered attractive. So this happens, right? And as I was saying, there's nothing wrong with that. Preferences are a tool, plain and simple. They don't have any good or bad attributes to it, period. When it comes to people having preferences, however, you have to look at a number of different things when it comes to what the outcome is. If you just have preferences just for the sake of having preferences, cool. But when you're talking about using preferences for purposes like choosing who your mate is going to be, who your spouse is going to be, who you want to have children with, that's when you have to start being a bit more strategic and you have to be a bit more rational and reasonable about your preferences. Because the same way how you have preferences, other people have preferences. That sounds very basic and very kindergarten, and it is. But unfortunately, we live in a society where a lot of people don't fully understand or struggle mightily with coming to grips with that.
Mhm.
They will sit back from noon to night and rattle off all their preferences, all the box that need to be checked off, what have you, the different tiers. This is mandatory, not budging on this. This I'm somewhat ambivalent about. It can go either way. I have some things I don't care about whatsoever. When it comes to the box that they check off, then all of a sudden people want to get shy and coy, and all of a sudden they want to get real scared, so want to get missing in the conversation.
Right.
And I think that all by itself speaks to the issue with preferences. People will unanimously agree, I think, that you're right to have whatever preference you want. I'm sure there's going to be a few people that it's going to disagree. There always is with everything. But for the most part, I think it's safe to say that the consensus is unanimous that you are free to have whatever preferences that you want. Again, when the finger is pointed back at the person and they don't fit the preferences of others, that's
Mhm.
when things start getting hairy. That's when people start getting in their feelings. The salt comes trickling out. You see all that Himalayan, all that coarse salt. You see all the pink salt, all the different variations, all the seasoned salt. All that starts to come out of the woodwork when people start realize that they may not be as high up on the totem pole as they think they are.
Mhm.
Um, we're too soft, I think, in general when it comes to certain things, particularly certain groups. Now we definitely have
Mhm.
more men now, and I'm being honest. Keep it a rack and a stack, no matter what. The truth don't care who it hits. We definitely have a lot more men who are uber sensitive and in their feelings now, not about not being the preference, not being the choice, the pick of the litter, so to speak. We have a lot more of those men out there now, unfortunately. Back when that didn't always used to be a thing, or it didn't tend to bother men as much. But what's really come out in the works now is that more and more kid gloves have been taken off where women are concerned, and the feelings of women. And I don't mean feelings in
Mhm.
terms of emotional well-being or security, what have you, but we're talking about the vanity, really. That excessive stuff. It's not essential. It's not important. It's not critical. The vanity of women has come under assault a lot in recent years, where men, for one reason or another, no longer are concerned with preserving the feelings and the very delicately constructed myths that women possess. And now a lot of women are not able to handle when they find out, hey, you ain't really popping like you think you are, or you thought you was hitting, but you really ain't. And so that's where we're having a lot of these conversations more and more. Women have, for the longest time, had the run of the gauntlet when it comes to expressing their preferences, whatever. And men, for the most part, have taken it. It's classic stereotypes of, women aren't attracted to men that look wimpy or weak or bookish and nerdish. And for the longest time, as long as you can remember, men typically have characteristically either just accepted their position, or if they've wanted to be more attractive, they've gone and done the things that they know women require. They'll go and hit the gym and come back with muscular frames. They'll go and get their abs popping. Dudes will go ahead and maybe get contact lenses or get, a LASIK surgery, lose the glasses if it makes them look nerdy or what have you. They'll go out and start getting money, either legally or illegally, and they'll, get better cars, get better places. They'll start dressing better, become more stylish. This is how men typically, historically, and even today, have responded to the knowledge that they are not the pick of the litter when it comes to women.
Mm.
Women, however, for the most part, now that they're really being confronted with this more and more, typically there's a lot of pushback. There's a lot of movements trying to gear towards forcing the conversation to change, or men don't like real women and such, whether it's due to physical issues or aesthetics, whether it's due to mindset and mentality or what have you. Men should just accept women that are boss bitches, they're strong, independent. The reaction hasn't been the same. Men have, for the most part, lean towards getting where they fit in. Women are
Mm.
still fighting back, kicking and braying and gnashing teeth, trying to force the preferences of men to change towards them. So I believe that's kind of the context of where we find ourselves today. So again, preferences, not a good or a bad thing. As is the case with most things, it's how we respond and deal with and interact with them. So that's where I think a lot of the pushback is coming from, and I think we're going to do a lot of touching on that and really getting deeper into the weeds tonight.
Real talk.
So you, Ant.
Definitely. That was a great point that both of
Mm.
you guys made. So before we go diving on deep tonight, let's just go over a couple of profiles. You guys want to do that? Let's see
Go for it. Go for it.
what
Let's
the
get it.
profiles look like tonight. All
You
right.
already know.
So
Yeah.
we want to analyze it. We want to see what people are putting out there. And is it realistic, or are they on some other bullcrap?
Yeah.
Right?
Go.
So our first profile is this guy. So this guy says, I got mines, no female leeches. I'm not hard to deal with. I'm not hard to play with. 100. Big difference. Who you are behind my back means more to me than who you claim to be in my face. I don't need a leech or a Sukihana. If you got your own ish, then we good. Then I can add value. I'm a hardworking man, got my own apartment, 2 jobs, and a man of value, and I know what I want. Ain't no tricking over here. Red flags. So I'm gonna make a great husband. One day I'm gonna make a great husband. I'm gonna be looking so handsome in my wedding tux. Shit. I'm gonna invite all my exes to so that they can see who they couldn't be. And I know my future wife gonna be crying like, out of all of these hoes, I'm numero uno. Boom. Yes. Dab on them. So this is profile number 1. How do we critique profile number 1?
Woo! Where do I begin? Hey, man. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
We need to have a show where we just teach straight game. You know what I'm saying? Like where we just kind of give brothers pointers on how to present themselves. We kind of touched on this before, but man, that one right there. Look at Bob. Hey, bro. Oh my sweet baby Jesus. Let me just I mean it's just
Can we?
so much.
Can we?
All right, so let's
Is it safe to
go
come
ahead,
out?
break it down.
Can we
It's
restart this whole episode? Can we restart this whole episode, man?
I'm just saying like, bro, that's a whole episode in and of itself. Really want to break
I
that
want a
down, but
people's elbow the reset button. Lord.
I will say this. I will say this, and I get on women for this, and I have in the past. First things first. When you're putting up a profile pic
Mhm.
where you're trying to entice people, you're trying to sell yourself, right? You're
Mhm.
trying to, make yourself look like someone desirable.
Yeah.
Very simple. From at the bottom of the barrel, at the very beginning,
Yeah.
post a picture where you're smiling or you
Mhm.
look somewhat inviting. You know what I'm saying? Because the
Yeah.
idea is that you are inviting people to take a look at you, right?
Correct.
Bruh, can we save all of the mean mugging prison poses, nigga, for the hip hop video? You know what I'm saying? Like real talk, dude. Post a picture where you looking like a civilized person. You know what I'm saying? Like that was not it. You
Bro,
feel
look like you
me?
about to punch you dead in your shit.
I mean, bruh, you go scare all the decent women off. You feel me? So that's number one. On a very basic level, post a nice picture, something that looks inviting, where you're smiling, where you're doing something that you look like you're having fun, you're enjoying yourself. Nobody's responding to that bullshit except hood rats. And that's
Mm.
absolutely what you should not be trying to attract. He said it there, the first comment, no female leeches. That's the first thing he said, right?
Mhm.
Okay, if you don't want any female leeches, you don't want low hanging fruit, is kind of what he's saying. That picture ain't gonna get the dimes on your side, bruh. Then that first line, you know what I'm saying? I got mine, no female leeches. I get the sentiment. I get that he wants to show that he's confident, but you kind of coming across like an asshole. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the number one rule when you're trying to reach out to people and invite them to take a look at you is you don't want to come across like an asshole. He might be a perfectly nice dude, but like that first line, the first sentence out the gate, he just sounds like a knucklehead, man. Like he looks like he's in his mid 30s. He sounds like he's 17.
Mhm.
And then you go and you start reading into the rest of it. It's kind of like braggadocio. He's bragging on himself a lot, talking about how great he is and all that. I feel like there's a way to do that too. You know what I'm saying? And like, I know no decent woman that I know would talk to this cat based on that
Mhm.
profile. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's gonna be a hell nah. You know what I'm saying? Like the profile is just whack. No shade to
Definitely.
the brother, but you need some tightening. You know what I'm saying? As Tariq Nasheed would say, you need to tighten up your game, man. Like that's just not gonna bring in any, decent, well-meaning females that are coming to you in good faith and really want to build with you, brother. That ain't it. Kind of
Bobby, what
scary.
you got going on for that? What you say, Bob?
Right now, I want to get about three police departments together. I want them to gather their best bagpipe players. I need to get all the riflemen, and we need to have us a funeral for this man and his baby.
Bruh.
I need them to play some smooth jazz or some R&B on the bagpipes, or whatever, and we can just have like a 21 gun salute because this is horrendous.
It's bad, bruh.
Um, Jesus Christ. First and foremost, and I typically see women do this more, but in hindsight, that's not fair to say because I'm a heterosexual man, so it's not like I'm out here trolling through the dating profiles of men, so I can't speak to that.
Yeah.
Um, but I do know that some dudes, I have at least enough awareness to know that some men do put out profiles and such like this, and I've definitely seen far too many women that do this. But aside from the whole what you point out with the pictures because Jesus Christ, yes, please smile. And even if you and I understand some people aren't huge on smiling like that, or they're not good at smiling. That's okay. It doesn't have to be, we don't have to be able to see all 32 of your teeth and your gold fillings and your caps, whatever. We ain't got to do all that, but
Right, right.
can you at least, and my God, this should be very easy. Can you at least make sure that that there's not a straight line in your face? Can you at least get like maybe like a 10% chance, like a slight, like a hint of a smile? Can we do that? Because if you can't do that, I mean, there might be some other issues that go deeper. It could be psychological. It could be, I don't know, you might need to see a mouth doctor or something. I don't know. That could be a condition. But can you at least look like someone that somebody else would not mind being in the presence of for just 3 seconds?
There you go.
Mm.
Hashtag
Men
no
and women.
scowl. Yeah.
Because because you don't look pleasant. You look grumpy. You look miserable. You look like I would need, it looks like I would maybe need to take some morphine to be around you, or at least antidepressants. Don't do that.
That ain't it.
Yeah,
Because
I have
let me tell
I
you right
have
now,
to.
first and foremost, what
Yeah.
is that? It looked like he had a bad. It looked like he just got fired from his workplace. Like he outside talking about it. Man, this some bullshit, man. They can't fire me. I'm the man, right? Dude,
Oh.
don't do that. And
What
then
you was gonna
next
say,
up,
Ant? Oh, go ahead.
we got to do something about these negative profiles. A
Yep.
lot of y'all really need to sit back, and I know they have some people out there who are offering services to go ahead and if you pay them, they'll go ahead and review your dating profiles and such. I know a couple people that's doing that. I know a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people want to be arrogant. I ain't paying for nothing like that. That's a con. That's a scam. Some of
No,
those
it's not.
people, hollering, y'all need someone to review your stuff
I'll do it for free.
because
Shit.
no. See, unfortunately, I've learned that a lot of people don't appreciate free. They see
Mm.
free and they undermine it. They take it for granted. They don't do nothing with it. When people pay for it, they value that. It don't even matter if it's a dollar.
No
Just the
doubt.
action of giving up currency, that all by itself puts things in a different bracket for people. It's psychological because people have this.
Right.
There's a psychology with money. That's part of it. Free, they think that means, oh, it's not valuable. If they pay for it, there's a subconscious agreement there. So no, you got to pay me for anything I do in that regard. But first off, there's the negative aspect to his profile. No female leeches. I'm not hard to
Right.
deal with. I'm hard to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Who you are behind my back. Just all these negative things. You just putting people in a negative frame of mind off the top.
Yeah.
Can you put something inspiring? Can you put something friendly, funny, adventurous? There's nothing about him whatsoever, but there's a whole bunch of lists and legal jargon and stuff. Ain't no one focusing on that. You making it sound like it's some kind of mythological quest to be in your presence. Ain't no one got time for that. You wildin'.
Look at
Second of
all those
all,
exclamation points. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
and they all in big red. It looked like red
X's,
flags.
X's, red flags, exclamation points. Goddamn.
Third off, and women are also guilty of this as well. You have to understand that a lot of times you are instructing people how to treat and deal with you based on what you're putting out there. If you putting out no female leeches, I'm not hard to deal with, I'm hard to play with. I don't need a leech or a Sukihana. First off, you sending out flares for all the people to come and say, hey, this is a target. This is a house that's been broken into before. We can bust into it again.
Yep.
And then you're saying you don't want no leeches, but now you talk about I got my own apartment, 2 jobs, and everything. You let them know that you the sweet spot.
Come on now.
Man, man, I ain't got no patience for no robbers and no thieves whatsoever, man. You still get stay from around me. I got my nice 6 bedroom house. I got my Vincent Van Gogh painting in one room. I got my Monets in the other room. I got like 19 French bulldogs and everything. And just because I don't got no security system, I don't got no guard or nothing, don't mean you come up in my well, damn, bro. All I need is your address. You better get it popping.
You know, only thing missing, I got an indoor pool and an outdoor pool. Got 20 Rolls Royces parked outside.
I just brought that up the other day too. But no, for real, a lot of y'all will say, I don't want to be a victim. and then you go ahead and put out a whole Craigslist ad for your ideal victimizer. Y'all got to stop doing that, man. Let's be mindful of the way we're instructing and talking to people and putting things out there. Some of y'all really set yourselves up for the lick. We got to be mindful of this. Keep it positive. Tell us about who you are. Let me give you an idea right now off the top of my head what brother could have put out here.
Mm.
Stable brother looking for freedom with his one and only. Come talk about,
Okay.
I'm a brother who's has a passion from, I don't know what he does. I don't know. Well, whatever. I'm a brother that has a passion for life. I enjoy spending time with the ones closest to me. Fitness is near and dear to my heart. I believe that health is wealth. I'm attracted to those who have a huge value for their own personal well being and that of other people. I love animals. I'm a morning person. Maybe breakfast is what we need to do one day. Just some kind of airy light stuff that people can actually visualize and see themselves and like, you know what, man? Yeah, he's handsome. I could see myself maybe at brunch or at breakfast with him or whatever.
No
I wonder
doubt.
if he knows anything. Get people excited about you.
No doubt.
Nothing here says excited. Now he did kind of go that a little bit. I give some props. He tried to find some silver lining on this big ass dark cloud. But
Hmm.
you talk about, one day I'm gonna make a great husband. I'm looking so
Right.
handsome in my wedding tux. I wouldn't take it that far, but then of course, the brother couldn't let himself be great. He had to go shoot himself in the kneecap talking about I'm gonna invite all my exes too so they can see what they couldn't beat. Jesus, bro.
This guy.
You sound like you were right there on day one of the heartbreak. You know,
Oh,
just and
we
again, a little investment goes a long way, man. Seriously, stop sometimes and think. If you were somebody else reading this, if your sister
right.
was on Tinder or Facebook or whatever it is, and was looking at this dude's profile, ask yourself, would you advise her sister that this is a good look right here? I would hope
Hell
not,
no.
because maybe I don't know, maybe he would see it and think that was a great choice. I don't know, but hopefully the answer would be no. But a little forethought goes a long way. And if you're serious about using, you know, social apps for dating, because post pandemic, this is a legit thing now. If it wasn't before, people do get married off these things now and have
Yeah.
meaningful relationships. If you're serious about using this as a means of dating, and you're not just on there for hookups or just waste time. If you're serious about it, it might be worth the effort to go ahead and sink some dollars into, finding someone who does this. If you can see some of their clients' resumes, whatever, go
Mm,
ahead, invest, have someone rewrite your stuff, coach you on what kind of pictures to put in there. Even go ahead and get some decent pictures, even if you got to pay a photographer. But if you're serious about finding your whoever on here, it might be worth the effort.
mm,
Make the investment. Make an investment in yourself. Make an investment in your happiness. And it might sound silly, but look at it this way: if you could spend $200 right now, I'm gonna set the price point. If $200 between getting a profile rating, go ahead and getting a photographer, get yourself started, whatever. If $200 right now could go ahead and guarantee that within a year and a half's time, you would find the love of your life on Tinder, Match, OkCupid, whatever else they got out there, would you be willing to drop those three figures?
mm.
Or would you rather go ahead and keep kicking the can around for free for years and years and ain't no prospects about you picking up?
Right.
definitely. So
That's
I
all I
got
got.
I got a lot more profiles to go through, so we're gonna make this spiffy, but that's a great
How
point.
much aspirin do we need?
Huh?
How much aspirin, how much Tylenol are we gonna need?
How many what time?
How many
How much
aspirin?
Oh,
aspirin,
how many
Tylenol,
aspirins? Oh, okay.
ibuprofen?
I don't know. We'll go through the profiles and y'all will tell me how much headaches y'all got so far.
Or rather, how much Pepto?
Yeah. So
God
my
damn.
my commentary real quick before I get to the next one. Yeah, I agree with the hairstyle. That's number one. He got the little that's not is that the little Richard? No, not the little Richard. It's the who is it? Is Was it Little Richard? No. It's Clinton. What's his name?
Clinton?
Clinton.
George
George
Clinton.
George
George
Clinton?
Clinton. Yeah, he had a George
Hilarious.
Clinton.
Hilarious.
Yeah, George Clinton going on. Um, Also, the part where he says inviting the exes, that's not a good look. Anybody that knows that you're dealing with exes or even entertaining exes is a red flag. And he just put an X and a red flag prior to that. There's ways to talk and boost about yourself, being a great husband. You don't have to tell anybody that. Let them find that out themselves. Um, and like you said, the leeches, that's you starting off with a negative connotation. People don't know what you perceive as being a leech. So if she might want to go out to a restaurant and it might be something you might feel is a little bit pricey, then you might look at her as her trying to leech off of you. So it's you're putting words out there that make people walk on eggshells. And a lot of people wouldn't walk on eggshells, so you already shrinking the pool down. So there are ways to find out leeches. You don't want to, a lot of times you don't want to put out there what you don't want, because what you want to do is put out the best of you and then see what approaches you. Because a lot of times, and I tell women this all the time, when you put out too much of what you don't want, then the guys who are those prospects will play the opposite role until they get what they get. So they will mask themselves because you already put out your what I don't want. And if they have those don't want criterias, then they're gonna play the opposite role. You know what I'm saying? And make it seem like they're not the guy that you don't want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got to be very careful about how you rate that. But like I say, it is like Bobby said, do invest in it. It's an investment because the woman you put into your life is going to be an investment. So might as well take the time out to invest in yourself to get back the best rewards possible. So let's go ahead and proceed on to profile number 2. All right, so this guy says, I'm a prophet from God. I was frozen in the ice for thousands of years, and I'm still getting used to civilization. I can't use chopsticks. So this was part of his profile that says, tell 2 truth and a lie. So I was trying to figure out which one was the lie, because he says, I'm a prophet from God. And I was frozen in the ice for thousands of years and getting used to civilization, and I can't use chopsticks. But my thing is, if you are a prophet from God and you have, I was frozen in ice for thousands of years, those 2 could be a lie.
Sometimes the jokes just write themselves, bro. Like I know you said you have a lot of these, so I'm gonna try to keep these brief because we got to work on time, right? You know what I'm saying? But this guy's just an ass clown. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if you're a woman, don't even waste no time on this fool's page. And at the end of the day, guys, really, you don't have anything better to do than to post up bullshit like this. You know what I'm saying? The guy has his face erased. You know what I'm saying? Like his face is whited out, man. And then he's talking all this plebiscite babble.
I think Ant might have done that for privacy purposes.
No. I didn't do it, but I'm pretty sure the person that posted up did it. I was just getting them off. I was getting off the profiles from women's pages that was scrolling through on Facebook. So any profile thing that I saw that women were going after and pointing out. So whoever posted it probably whited out his face for so nobody could go back to that person. So that's why that was whited out. Yeah.
I thought the person did it themselves. But even still, if they had their picture, this is plebiscite babble. This is Oswald Bates. You know what I'm talking about? Like the dude from In Living Color who used to use all them big ass words that ain't mean shit. That's what this is. You can't take a character like this seriously. You know what I mean? Like, and brothers, y'all need to stop wasting females' time putting up this bullshit. Nah, it's a hell nah for me, bro. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? The brother needs some tightening.
I'm gonna
Bobby,
try.
what
I'm
you
gonna try.
say?
I'm gonna try and be kind with and say maybe this could have been a case of him just trying to be playful or what have you. Because I know that some apps, whatever, will set up like some icebreakers or like some kind of ways to kind of like introduce yourself or to kind of get others to know you. So they'll say things like, what's your favorite vacation location or your favorite vacation spot or whatever, or they'll ask you for truth and a lie. So maybe he was trying to be ridiculous on purpose to get someone to laugh because women will definitely say, getting me to laugh is a big weight in my heart or whatever. So maybe he's trying to do that. And
Could be.
I can understand that. But one of the things, but your perception is valid because you have to understand when it comes to jokes, sometimes things are hit or miss. So jokes like that, they might be a hit for some women. They might see it, they're laughing and they're reaching out and they're saying, "You're so stupid." So which one is really the truth and the lie? He, whatever.
Hmm.
It could work, but they could
Right.
also have the same reaction that y'all had and was like, "This is ridiculous. This is clown stuff. I'm not taking them serious, whatever." So when you're doing things like making jokes, especially if it's through text, you got to
Hmm.
be careful because sometimes things don't always translate the way you like them to. So it would probably be different if he said these out loud, that he was talking to her and she was like, "So tell me something about yourself." And he tried to take it down that route. It might come off completely different saying it out loud, especially when she can see your face, read your facial expressions, your body language, as opposed to reading text like this on a site. Because you really do have nuts out here who really do believe stuff like this. I'm a prophet from God. I came
Hmm.
from the Ice Age. Mahovawak is my supreme. You know, People be really out to lunch nowadays. So
Yeah.
online, it might be hit or miss. So another thing you need to do is kind of be mindful again. Sometimes you might want to switch stuff up to keep it fresh. And outside perspectives never help. Holler at your homeboy, holler at your homegirl. Hey, if you were a woman and you read this, how would you think about it? Get some feedback from some other people. Again, this is a feeling out process. This is like fishing. So if you're fishing, you want to make sure you got the right bait on the hook. You're not just gonna go ahead and if you hunting for salmon, you're not gonna necessarily get them with no Cheetos. So if you want to try a Cheeto in the first time on the end of the hook, okay, try it. See, it doesn't work, but don't keep throwing the Cheetos out there. Well, I'm putting bait in the hook. They got to respond. Do some tests. Do salmon actually like Cheetos, or would they prefer worms or something else? Go ahead and experiment. Might be a hit, might be a miss. So be mindful of that.
Right.
Definitely. I do want to say before we get on to the next one that fellas, it's very, I wouldn't even say fellas, just people. If you have, this is a show about dating preference. One of the pet peeves that people have is they will examine not only what you write, but also your picture and in your background. Make sure that your background is clean because your background, you could write the best words, and if your background is janky, it says a lot about your character of a person. Because it also says that what type of person you examined this picture before you posted it. And if you posted it knowing that your background was like that, that means you're immune to the lifestyle that you are portraying. And if somebody says that you're klutz or a clutterer or a hoarder or just very untidy, then they're not going to want to deal with you regardless of the eloquent poems or words you put up. So always be mindful of that. And fellas, stop taking pictures with your camera phone like that. Go out there and get a photographer, or they have selfie sticks where you can put your phone on a stick and you stand back and hit the button and it counts down 5, 10 seconds and it takes the pic. Because I'm tired of you guys looking like footballs in the mirror taking pictures like that. All right, so that's just the added advice for you guys. So
Good pointers. Yeah.
the next one, I am a lovable person, God fearing and fun to be with. I'm just me, myself, and I. Please note that I am here, something real. So come into my life, and I've got so much love to show you.
Mm.
So this might be a foreigner because his English was.
Okay.
He would
That's the
definitely
thing.
benefit from some spell check there and some grammar check. But for the
Right.
most
Yeah.
part, especially based on everything else that came before. This, I love it. I'm gonna give him a strong A. Right there,
Mm,
he's talking about himself in a positive way. He's naming his attributes. He's a lovable person. He's God fearing. So especially those who that resonates with, they're gonna take note of that. He's
Right.
fun to be with. Women don't want to be dull and bored in the closet somewhere. They want to be with someone that's fun. They want someone that's gonna make their time worth spending with them. So you're fun to be
Yeah.
with. Cool. So I'm not getting bored with this guy. I am just me, myself, and I. So giving off the idea that he doesn't come with a whole bunch of false pretense, whatever. He's himself. He's a genuine person, sincere. Please note that I am here for something real. So come into my life. I've got so much love to show you. So indicating that maybe he's not looking for anything on the hookup side of the game. He's looking for a real connection. He's got a lot of love to show you. That's positive. That's
That's dope.
warming. A woman with a good head on her shoulders, who's mature and has her head and heart in the right place, is going to see that. She's going to look at that, and she should more than likely have the idea that this is someone who's worth taking a shot with, or at least exploring. And he's got a nice, decent picture of himself. He's relatively full body, so you can see what he looks like. No real opportunities for catfishing there. Wherever he is, not sure, but it looks good. It's a good presentation. That's putting your best foot out there. So salute to brother Ayorinde. I hope he's had success on his dating adventure with his profile.
No doubt. I totally agree with a small critique. Maybe I'm just this petty. I give him about a B plus. Everything Bob said was on point. But bro, you gotta hit that spell check, man. You can't be having you know, I am here, something real, so come into my life, bro. That you missing words. You know what I mean? So just tighten that up. I still think it's good, very good representation of himself, but hit that spell check because that's my pet peeve. Like when I used to, sift through dating profiles, like what I'm saying, it was a pet peeve. It's like, okay, this person can't talk. They can't if they can't spell, they probably don't speak very well, and I'm a stickler for that. So watch out for that. But besides that, on point, love it. Big
yeah,
improvement from what we've been seeing.
yeah, I don't have any much of a problem with what, like I said, just the grammar, because you got a lot of grammar Nazis out here, and a lot of women are college educated and they've been to college, so they look for little things like that.
Hmm.
Um, and you just want to try to be on point with that as much as possible. But that's about it.
Yeah,
I think you guys had good synopsis on it, feedback on that. Full body pick is great. Only thing missing out of here is a smile, because women are tired of meeting janky dudes with janky mouth and a janky grill. So you got to show some form of teeth, because they want to
true.
know. Because you can look good, and this dude have no teeth. He could have gummies, right? And
Real
that would
talk.
Hey,
throw off
hey,
the whole thing.
if she like it, then she should have put veneers on it. All right.
Yeah.
So that's
All
beautiful right there. Don't worry about that.
right. So the next one. All right. So charming. Looking to spend time in someone I vibe with and not rush into anything serious. LTR, unless it feels right. Sex is no longer a bargain tool for relationships now. I don't give married, I don't give material.
What? What's he talking about? What's LTR? And what does he mean? I don't give material.
LTR,
Long,
long term
long,
relationship. So he's not.
Okay.
So this is probably going to be one of your typical let's not put a title on it niggas.
Okay.
mm,
And then especially when he comes talking about afterwards about sex is no longer a bargaining tool for relationships now. Like, oh, okay, that's
Yeah, this dude sounds corny as hell. Um,
especially with and the irony is he got the nerve to use that name, so charming.
yeah.
yeah, he
Uh,
this is an ass clown. Especially the last sentence. I don't give material. What is he talking about?
Probably benefits, whatever.
yeah,
Look,
I don't know.
It's a
somebody
goofy ass
please tell
picture.
great value DJ Envy to go back to his wife before they break it again.
Yeah, I to me, I feel like there's a lot going on here that would definitely give him a swipe left.
Yeah.
So charming, but yet your profile data is not charming and it's not welcoming. So it's a contradiction to your
Right.
name. Also, you have a polo shirt with a drawing of a bird on it. So that lets me know you got that out of the swap shop.
Right.
Um, so that
Right.
also is another flag that I definitely, if I was a woman, I would look at that and say, "Oh, no, I'm good. Swipe
Right.
left." So if sex isn't a bargaining chip, then I'm pretty sure you don't have no chips in your wallet to bargain with,
Mm.
because based on your profile. So that's what I see for that. That's all I got for so charming.
Yeah, that shit whack. Next. That shit whack.
So next profile. All right. So this profile was about me looking. I don't remember who this profile matched up with, but it was saying looking to spend time with someone I vibe with and
And I
not
think it's
rush.
the same dude.
Huh?
I think it's the same dude. It's just like an extended
You think so?
uh yeah, no, if you look at the yeah, go to the next page because if you look
Yeah,
at it, it
yeah,
picks
that's
up
it.
Oh, it's the
That's it.
same thing.
material things to get feminine energy touch. I enjoy the being active, cycling through the city.
Okay.
If he would have killed that whole first paragraph and just jumped to the whole I enjoy section, he probably would have been straight.
But
Mm.
he says, okay, he says something about I don't give material, but then in here it says, I don't know,
That's
it
the
just, oh
continuation.
yeah, okay, got you, got you. It did
Yeah.
say serious LTR. Okay, got you. All right, so this is the second part of it. Okay. I don't give material. Okay, I don't give material things to get feminine energy.
Ah,
I
okay.
enjoy being active, cycling through the city, rock climbing, gun range, running down the beach, paddleboard, and seeing the latest movies released outdoorism during the day, homebody by late night, days off Sunday and Monday. I still have the same. It just doesn't match up for me. I'm
Mm.
not even going to even engage more into it. It doesn't match up at all.
I will
It's
give
a
him props.
mm.
If I could find one thing to give him a compliment about, I
Yeah,
do give him props to the end about in addition to listing his interests, which is nice for people who might be on the same wave as him. I do
correct.
like that he did take the initiative to go ahead and put his days off of Sunday and Monday. So it does kind of give people an idea of, when they might link up with him or something like that. But again, that's just the one little silver dot in a
Yeah.
very dark spot.
Definitely,
I give him
definitely.
a little bit of props for the end of that sentence there. It bugged me so much, but now I get it. I don't give material things to get feminine energy or touch. To get feminine energy or touch. He's saying he doesn't pay for play. I give him props for that. Everything else
Mhm.
is whack. So yeah.
Yeah, it got to match up for me.
Yeah.
That's everything got to, because that's what women look for. They want to see, because there's a lot of fakes and phonies out here, and
Hmm.
they're very more critical than we are. They're very
Right.
more analytical than we are. So they'll see, if we can see that it just seemed like it don't match up, they're definitely gonna say, nah, I don't. It don't feel right.
Hmm.
All right. So this guy. Now I want you guys to pay attention to this, right? So this guy, Louis, him, University of Cambridge, 2 miles away. So I want you to look at the picture, right? Y'all see the picture?
Okay.
All right. So this is the second part of his profile. Do y'all see a problem?
I
I
see
mean,
confusion.
I see. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
I see a haphazard. So basically, he's open to monogamy. He's also open to ethical non-monogamy. And he's also open to polyamory.
Hmm.
You open to 9 different relationship types, sir, sir.
He don't even have a picture. This dude is a clown.
We got a
Next.
picture of his blunt and his nuts. I mean,
I mean, come on, bro. He's he's a clown.
So if I was a woman, I would have swiped left. Why do you think I would have swiped left?
Any number of reasons. I mean, Look, anytime I look at a profile, I don't see a picture of somebody's face. It's a
Yep.
wrap. Like I don't care what else is on the page. If I don't see a picture of a face, well, I need to see your blunt and your sneakers. Like,
Because he wants you to read, right? So if he wants you to read, let's just say he wants you to read off of it. Why would I swipe left if I was a woman? And I want fellas to pay attention because you do dumb, goofy stuff and then wonder why you don't get the reaction you get. All right, so let me go back to the original. All right. So what does he have in his hand?
a blunt,
Okay. What does it say at the bottom?
non-smoker. Hilarious. And then it says yes. He got a weed plant, and it says yes.
So he don't smoke cigarettes, but he smokes weed. I mean, he lights something up and burns it, and he inhales.
This nigga just
I don't.
stupid. I mean, I wouldn't even waste that much time on it. No picture. You got a picture of a blunt instead of your face. This is a low energy person, man. Like,
You
I would
can't
also hope no woman would go for this too, with all the kidnappings and the sex trafficking and stuff they got going on. I would hope no woman would go
exactly.
and set
you
herself
can't
up for a night like this.
you can't sit back and
Please.
say you're a non-smoker but you smoke weed. It doesn't make sense. It
It
doesn't
doesn't
matter
make
if
sense.
it doesn't matter if you smoke cigarettes or weed. You can't say you're a non-smoker.
Yeah, I agree.
Non-smoker means you don't smoke at all.
Correct.
That means that your brain cells are fucked up. I would definitely swipe left. All right, next next profile. You you want a sharp, okay, well, get along. We'll get along if you want a sharp and smart guy with a great sense of humor, mutual care and respect, good banter, and both of us want a terrific long-term relationship. Anything wrong with that?
That
That's
run-on sentence is bothering me.
Yeah, it's a
The
bit.
fact that half of his face is cut off is bothering me, and he looks like a sex trafficker. I mean, dude, again, this is just like the shit is screaming, I'm a rapist. Why would you respond to some shit like this? This shit is ridiculous. Nah, bro, it's whack.
I would really hope that that's not the only picture he has on his profile. I'm begging and pleading with him,
It's ridiculous.
but because everything about that picture screams, I'm an undercover officer and I'm going to look you up.
That's the best
I'm,
thing it screams.
I'm sorry. Like I'm saying, I would hope that there's more than one picture there, and that the other pictures are better than this one. But yeah, I mean, style is an individual thing. I'm not gonna necessarily jump on someone's style too much because it's part of your personality. You express yourself how you express. I get that. I dig that. But again, we're talking about a dating profile. You're trying to get the attention of, well, I'm assuming women, but you're trying to get the attention of other people.
Mhm.
You want to look a little bit more inviting than that. Again, what I've said before about the whole, the line in your face that you call your mouth not being a straight line. In this case, you can literally see his mouth turning down. He looks like he's got like one of those ventriloquist dummy chins, and it's just etched in this permanent,
Whew.
serious look. And then he's got the MAGA law enforcement shades on top of that too. I mean, look a little bit more open, a little bit more inviting. I'm not saying he's got to go ahead and walk around with those Cuban Guayabera shirts open and stuff showing his chest and like he's a living La Vida Loca Ricky Martin video extra. I'm not saying all that, but look at least a little bit more relaxed, not so stiff, a little bit more. Because again, the little description he gave is nice. If you want a sharp, smart guy, great humor, mutual care, respect, good banter, that sounds great. But
Mhm.
what I'm reading here doesn't necessarily match up with this picture that I'm seeing above. It looks like two different people here, like a split personality thing going on.
Yeah.
So, again, it's good to show different sides of yourself. I would leave that side at home, swap that with a different picture. And again, hopefully that's not the only picture you got up there. But yeah. he's still doing better than some of those other ones, which is sad. So
Yeah, but that for me at the end of the day, that shit's still whack.
Yeah,
Whack.
he's you could tell he's up in age. He has a certain demographic of women that he's looking for. His pool is a little bit more shortened than others because he's not a very stylish man. He looks kind of boring, but in his own way, and he's looking for somebody that's on that same level as him, and that might spark a chemistry between the two. When he
Hmm.
says good banter, so anybody that uses the word banter pretty much has their own sense of humor. So I give it that much. But yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna get into the women.
All right.
So we showed you some of the guys, and now we're gonna get into the women. All right. So the first woman up is this.
Oh God.
Please don't ask me. Don't please don't ask me any loan application type question. I will block you. Please don't get in my inbox and have nothing to say. Don't get in my inbox and I ain't don't get in my inbox and I gotta wait for you to reply back after it's you who got in my inbox. I get bored easy and will stop all communication and block you as well. Thanks.
Jesus. I mean, first of all, that picture's whack.
don't. I knew you were
Um,
going there. I
that,
knew you were going.
that picture's just whack. I mean, she's not a ugly sister, but just the way she's presenting herself, like I shouldn't see your titties 5 minutes before I see you. You know what I'm saying? It's like she's going out of her way, just trying to, do all this. It's like that shit is whack. Um, and then just the posture of her face, the way she's holding her face is whack. She just looked like a stank. You know what I'm saying? She just looked like one of these stank booty chicks with a fucked up attitude. And then to double down on that or to reinforce that, look at the profile. She's just like the first guy that we saw, where the first thing she starts talking about is something negative. Do not do this. Do not do that. Don't do this, and because I won't call you back. And man, like you gotta again, you just seem like a bear, like you know what I'm saying, like you came straight out the viper pit onto this profile. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's interested in talking to somebody who don't do this and don't do that. Like you just sound angry at the world for no damn reason. You're trying to get someone to bite, so to speak, to be interested in you, to check for you, to rock with you, talk about things that you like and things that are good about yourself. Hey, my name is Paquita. I'm from, Miami Lakes. I enjoy hiking on the weekends and swimming and water sports and da 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 da. Hit me up if you like those things too. See how I did that off the top of my head and I didn't give any disclaimers about, not asking for any loan information and no dumb shit. Like, what are you talking about? What is she even talking about? It's crazy. Nah, it's a hell no for me. That's whack. It's just whack. That's my two
Uh,
cents.
Me, I would swipe left because the only thing positive about it was thanks. Everything else is just negative, and that just lets me know it's a headache. And the
Yep.
one thing that would
Absolutely.
definitely let me swipe left is the fact that she says, I get bored easy. So
Uh
that
huh.
means I have to be your jester clown, and I got to
Right.
jump through hoops to
Hmm.
make sure that you are
Yep.
happy and entertained. I don't have the time for that. Definitely swipe left. And, I would,
Everything about
that's
this
just my
woman just breathes and bleeds arrogance.
Yep.
From the from and it's not just the picture and the way the picture's taken, but again, it's that joke of a profile that she puts there. Everything about it is from comes off from the perspective of, for me even being here is an honor. You should be grateful to God that you were even able to learn that I exist and for me to even entertain you. So don't ask me any loan application questions. I'll block you. Don't get my inbox. Don't have nothing to say. This and that and third. I get bored easy. I see a whole bunch of reasons why you should be passed over. There's not a single thing that would even make me want to stick around. And funny enough, what just like you pointed out before, the only positive thing was the thanks. And the irony is she had no problems with going into great detail about everything negative. And then that one positive, she couldn't even bother to write out the word thanks. She just put THX. She won't even let you get no damn. She stole a whole entire vowel and consonant from you. That was too much work for her. And then on top of that, she got the nerve to talk about. I see up there, she's looking for friendship. So I mean, nah,
Mm,
just
mm.
know. These are the kind of women that will definitely make your life hell. They
Yep.
will make they will treat you as though you should be honored to be in their presence. Everything's going to revolve around them. And the funny thing is, these types usually will say in person, "I'm such a sweetheart. I don't know why people think I'm such a bitch."
Mm.
Maybe because you are. I don't know.
She's giving
But
Ebony K. Williams all
well,
day.
well,
All right, so
Ebony K. Williams.
this is our next profile. All right, so Gene says, super tired of this app. Don't do little kids or baby mama drama. I'm 5'5". Please don't lie about your height and be eye level to me. No, I'm not into the poly life because 9 times out of 10, one of you are attracted and one of you aren't. So I'm good. If you live with family or friends, keep scrolling and focus on getting your own ish instead of dating. Have your own ish, because I do. No, I'm not coming to see you in another state unless you're making the time to see me first. Enjoy your day.
Jesus Christ. Another one.
I
This
actually
is
counted
almost.
that. I heard 11 red flags. Matter of fact, you know what? No, that's being a little soft. I heard 11 stop signs. Big old red neon stop signs that glow in the dark and have flashing lights on them. No, 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 no,
Yeah, I would swipe
no.
left.
This is
And
horrible.
then on top of that, all this nonsense, and they got the nerve to be talking about she's looking for chatting, friendship, something casual. Who gonna go through
Listen,
all that nonsense just for something casual with you?
bruh.
Lord
Remember
have
when I
mercy.
remember what I said about the first profile with the first dude you showed? Usually this is the type of stuff that you see women post up. This is identical almost to the one before. Everything she says is negative.
Hmm.
Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't come to me with you don't have your shit together. I got my shit together. Don't you can you can read the neck waving through the paragraph. You know what I'm saying? You could read the neck waving into the sentences in the paragraph. And it's a shame because she's not a bad looking sister, pretty sister.
She
But my
looks she looks
God, when you start
beautiful, but
talking,
the inside is horrible.
huh?
She looks great, but the inside, my God, you need to scrub that down with Clorox, vinegar, Lysol, Mystic Clean. That whole thing needs a renovation. I really need the sisters to understand you cannot use being a boss bitch or being rude and snappy as a personality.
Whack.
That's not attractive. The Because if you look at these things, this is some old. If you look at how they're coming across and the mannerisms, this is the same kind of bullshit that you see on some reality TV joint.
Yep.
So Real Housewives of
Yep.
something, Basketball Wives, or as I call them, Basketball Birds, Love and Hip Hop. This is the
Yep.
kind of nonsense that you'd see on there when they come in and introduce themselves. I'm Maya. I'm 28 years old from Chicago. I don't take no mess. I got my own. What man gonna deal with me? Run that, that whole kind of
Yeah.
that might be attractive to you, and that might be the kind of woman that you gravitate to and that you want to identify with in your media entertainment or whatever. But that does not translate outside of TV to anything functional people want to deal with.
Right.
because that gives off the same thing in real life that it does in those TV shows, drama.
Hmm. Operative word, functional. Functional people don't want to deal with that. Functional people, intelligent people, people who have their shit together, as she spoke on, people who, are the kind of people that you might want to build a life with or even establish, a good, exalted friendship, let's call it, with. You understand what I'm saying? Good, decent, normal people do not gravitate to hood rat behavior and talk. You understand what I'm saying? You're gonna keep pulling the Pookies and Ray Rays that you've been pulling. And when you listen to what she's saying, it sounds like just a lot of bitterness and hurt. It's just this bile coming out, where she's talking to new people in a way as to tell them, don't come over here with that I've already experienced in the past. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not having that and blah, blah, blah. And that's fine for you to not accept. But when you just come off from hello, like, hey, I'm going to fight you, that ain't it. Sisters, this is why you're losing. A lot of y'all come off like that
They
with the
also
resting
tell
bitch face, and this type of rhetoric coming in the door. It's whack. Garbage.
they're also,
Hashtag
they also
garbage.
do a real good job of letting the world know what their dating resume looks like.
Right.
Based off of all this stuff, we know exactly the kind of dudes who typically try to get at you, number one. So you're also informing us about where you actually stand in the pecking order. We see what your level is. And the
Real
level
talk.
isn't what you're hoping at reaching. We see exactly what the price of admission is. All these dudes maybe get into our poly life maybe because they don't see you as someone that's worth being with only. They're saying, well, I'll take you, but if I'm going to take you, I'm going to need something else to sweeten the pot because you by yourself ain't it. And based off of this, it makes sense why you're single in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
If this is your personality, if this is how you actually are, I can understand why dudes have stopped around for a little bit and either got out right away or they left once they got what they wanted or what they wanted was no longer worth the squeeze of the orange.
Real
You've
talk.
instructed a lot of people about how to treat you and where you're supposed to be at with your behavior.
Hmm.
Problem is, if you're having all these same exact encounters with men, maybe it's not the men. Maybe they see you, they know where you're supposed to be, and they're saying, hey, you and I, we're in the same boat. Let's make this happen. So,
That's
something to think
insane,
about.
man. Yeah, that's wild, bro. Like it with the other one, you kind of expected because her face, you know what I'm saying? Like you just kind of gave that off, but this one here, you expect her to be a little more civilized. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when you got the locks. You know how a lot of brothers, myself especially, I tend to assume the sisters with locks are a little more conscious. But my
Yeah,
God, you know what I'm saying?
that's
Like,
hold up.
Unfortunately, you got to watch that because that's been
you
co-opted
do.
now.
I know.
That's
Some sometimes they're the worst ones these days. That didn't used to be the thing, but that's become a thing now, unfortunately.
What a
yeah.
shame.
There's faux locks is trendy. That's fashionable. So those are like the fake dreads.
Hmm.
So you got a lot of low energy women that do have faux locks.
But even just the face is kind of fresh. You know what I'm saying? I don't see the drag queen eyelashes. I don't see 10 pounds of makeup. You know what I'm saying? I don't see some of the usual suspects that give off, what I would expect this type of rhetoric to come from or who. You know what I'm saying? She
That
looks
gives me the
normal.
impression that's a bit more of a bitter hurt type of thing. So especially at her age 35,
Hmm.
maybe some of these dudes that she's been with that she's listing that she doesn't want anymore. Maybe a few of them dudes done took her for a ride. They rode her hard, put her away wet, and now she's still carrying that. And because with the other one, it's a bit more vanity based, and you can tell. But with her, that
Right.
might just be a case of she just really needs some therapy. She needs some tools for managing what she's been through and getting herself in a healthy plane.
Hmm.
And that goes back to some other things we talked about before about people out here in the dating pool who have not healed from their past experiences and they out here just bleeding stuff in the pool got all nasty and filthy for themselves and everybody else. Bleeding in the water draws sharks. So
Right.
you literally putting out help want ads for more what you just got away from, and now it's gonna be a whole merry-go-round where all these different predators are taking their turns with you. And while
Right.
yes, they don't have the right to go ahead and victimize you, at the same time, you need to be a bit more mindful about not victimizing yourself either.
True.
Because
Right.
in that case, you assist them. If they're, it's one thing if they're breaking in your house and stealing from you, but in your case, you unlocking the door and open it for them so they can come in and steal from you. Now you are a party and accessory to your own crime.
Right.
Exactly.
And there's no
So
way you
we
should be 35 years old talking stupid like this. That's the long and short of it. My God.
so we're gonna get into the last one.
Mm,
This one right here.
mm.
29-year-old. I like hood niggas. That gives me princess treatment only. No white men.
Again,
At
the
least
jokes
she's
just
trying to
write
keep it in the
themselves.
family.
Uh,
And remember, that's faux locks.
yeah, the jokes write themselves, man. It's just
But
whack. First of all, she ain't really giving you no information about herself. She's really not. You know, other than she like hood niggas that give her quote unquote princess treatment. What the fuck is that? Like, again, you should not be this age. She's 29 years old. She's almost 30 years old. She's just talking stupid. Princess treatment. Okay, so just give you anything you want, basically. And you like the quote unquote niggas, because you like niggas. You said this yourself. You like the niggas that you deal with to just give you whatever you want. There's so much wrong with that. First of all, any woman that refers to men, generally speaking, as niggas is a bird. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. You know, like, come on, man. How old are we? Especially if you're over 25. You understand? It's ridiculous. And then, they got to give her the princess treatment only and no white men. Whereas normally some brothers might rally around a sister that says that. Do you really want to rally around this type of sister that says that? Like, because you're bringing all this bile to only black men. I kind of wish it said only white men. You know what I'm saying? Because this is just whack. You know what I'm saying? It just is screaming red flags. Her again. You got this person with this. You can't see her whole face, but she got this scowl on her face, like she's just angry at the world, and she ain't even giving no information on herself. Real life Bratz doll. I've always been cautioned to be aware of women who refer to themselves as dolls. Dolls are plastic depictions of beauty. You know what I'm saying? That's how you refer to yourself. She ain't got no edges. I mean, I could just go on all day. And I don't even have a full paragraph worth of information. It's just whack, whack. Next. You know what I'm saying? It's just
um,
whack.
you know what?
Poor thing.
I'm actually gonna flip the game on his head just a little bit, and I'm gonna say, you know
Okay.
what? I actually appreciate this profile.
Hmm.
I do,
Okay.
because you have a lot of women older than her who have
Hmm.
that same exact mindset, but they like to try to masquerade it and dress up and make it look good and make it sound better,
Agreed.
whatever, or whatever. I actually applaud and appreciate her for being honest and being real.
I respect the
She ain't
honesty.
out here, she ain't out here setting anything up. She's not saying, "Oh, I want a 6-figure man who's 6'5" tall, whatever." And he has.
Where
She's
is
not
Bobby
doing that fool.
frozen?
She's not saying I want none of this nonsense. I like hood niggas.
Oh, okay.
Well,
It gives me
yes and
princess
no.
treatment.
Yes and no, because she is saying she likes hood niggas, but that gives her the princess treatment only. So
So
you
she like
gotta
the
kind
Jonas
of be
Black
a
boys.
yeah, you
She
kind
like
of. But I'm
she like
saying
Jonas Black boys. Yeah.
you gotta kind of be a 6-figure dude to be able to give her the princess treatment only.
Well, could be the case. See, when it comes to women like that, the whole idea of 6 figures just implies that there's a lot of money to spend on them. But the reality is, a lot of dudes that make big money, regardless of whether they got it on Wall Street or Wall Boulevard in the back corners or whatever,
Mhm. Mm-hmm.
You got dudes that making a lot of bank and they're very tight fisted. They're not very
Mm-hmm.
generous at all. So they might make $100,000 a year, but you'll be lucky if you get a damn $2 bill out of them.
Yeah,
So basically wants a dude who's going to basically not be stingy with his money. So whether he's got $100,000 in the bank or he's got $500 in the bank, so long as he's willing to come off what he's got, she's along for the ride, and that's cool. Because most of those dudes, they look for that kind of chick anyways. They're looking for some arm candy. They're looking for something that the boys gonna be like, "Dang dog, man, she look man, huh, you got that, my nigga." So in this case, I would say that she's being realistic, and this
mm.
would be a case of water seeking its own level. She ain't
Agreed.
up here trying to reach the top ladder. She's like, no, I know what I qualify for. I know what I like, and I'm gonna stick right there. I respect that. You know what? The truth is, she's in a better position to get her act together and get herself on track, and ultimately attract a better dude than the women that's out here faking the funk.
Agreed.
Because when you try to play the game, when you try to straddle the fence, try to not look this way and not look that way, whatever, you cut yourself off from a lot. She's in a better position to get what she wants now, and also in the future, if she grows up and matures, get something better later on. So I
Okay.
actually tip my hat to her. She likes it. I love it. Do you? The hood niggas out there would love to have a real life Bratz doll. Salute to her.
All
Bet.
right, so we're definitely going to get into our topic of the week, trending weekly topics, our
What's
next
up?
segment. So, with the topic of the week and the trendy topic, a lot of people didn't know what was going on, but I know Drake has a friend that made a post about this person situation,
Okay.
and so what we're going to get into is the trendy topic of the week, which is: would you date a bus driver? What do you do for work? I am a bus driver. Says you guys know or you haven't seen previously. There's a lady by the name of Erica. She has came. She was doing a one-on-one interview with Ayana, and she talked about
Ebony.
her name. Oh, Ebony. Okay,
Ebony K.
thanks.
Williams. Yeah.
Ebony K. Williams. Okay. Ebony K. Williams. Thanks for the correction.
Yeah.
So Ebony K. Williams got into a one-on-one with Ayana Bonsant, and they were having a dialogue about men. And Ebony works for the Griot. And if you know anything about the Griot, you know that that's a platform that really takes a huge dump on Black men in particular.
Mm-hmm.
And so just being that she was representing the Griot platform and her whole demeanor and what she said, after Ayana asked her, would you date a bus driver? Because she had these high demands for men and everything like that. So she asked her, would you date a bus driver? And then she said, no. Or I only date him if he owns the bus system. And it caused a huge wildfire of dialogues. A lot of people got offended. People were just making different memes, different posts. And I know Drake, this was Drake's friend, acquaintance, that I should say, not friend, but acquaintance on social media. And he was like, I don't think Ebony K. Williams is wrong. If she wants a man that brings a certain income, then there's nothing wrong with that. There's also nothing wrong with Kevin Samuels teaching that men with that type of money don't want an almost 50-year-old divorcee. Ain't nobody about to tell me what my preference can be, so I ain't gonna tell her either. And I know Drake um, agreed with that because preference is preference. So I just wanted to get the basis of it before I get into the video. So let's get into the video so where people can get the whole context from it. All right.
Yeah.
We are so blessed to have you here with us today on the Griot. I want to start, dear, with something that we share, which is that we are both attorneys by trade. You are a lawyer, you have a legal background. And as women in the law, Ayanla, do you believe that lens, that legal lens, informs our perspective and the way we show up in the world as women?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I got out. Yeah,
Hmm.
very, very, very masculine, very intellectual, almost stripped and robbed of humanity. It really shows the dichotomy between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. And for me, it just didn't feed my soul. And so I had to get out.
I feel that, and I do feel that I might have heard on a date or two, Ayanla, that we are not in a courtroom, Ebony. You can put the gavel down, and I do, I do feel it can spill over into the way I show up in my womanhood, which is really the center of this conversation today.
All right. So you repeat
Hmm.
that. She said
Hmm.
that a lot of guys she went on the thing with said that it spilled over to it. So there's another video. There's two more videos I want to show before we
And
get
when
off this.
my lived experience, and I think I'm still relatively young, I guess, but I'm 40 in September. So, you know, I've had some relationships, and I've yet to find a man who has shown up, and this includes even my father, who was absent. I've yet to have a male energy that provided or protected me consistently ever. So I think that I have taken on the reins to protect and provide for myself, because what I'm not going to do, Ayanla, is be without. Baby, it's not
Be
happening.
without what?
So that
Be
would
without what?
be without protection, be without protection, and be
Okay.
without the necessities of life.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but I say that with an invitation, Ayanla, check me. Show me the error of my ways. Tell me how I might be missing it, because I might be.
Okay. I too am an alpha woman. So I understand what that means. And I tell people all the time, I was a horrible mother. I was a horrible mother. I was a great father. And I was a horrible mother because I had never been mothered. So I didn't know how to affirm, how to nurture, how to nourish, how to guide. I knew how to direct, how to demand, how to discipline, and like you said, provide and protect. Those are masculine energies. And the distinction here is men build, women create. So we know how to build. We know how to get to the external and get the work done and drive and push and do it. We don't know how to be still, create it, and allow it to come to us. And I learned that when I lost everything. I learned how to create because I had already built and it all crumbled. The house, the husband, the job, the contracts, the professional career in the world, stripped of it all the attachments, the necessities of life, the creature comforts, until I was stripped down to the bare bone. And then I had to learn how not to build. Build is external. Create is internal. And we as women have the power to create and attract anything we desire. But we don't get still. We won't shut up. And we manage everything through fear, control, and survival, as opposed to feeling, knowing, and blooming or flourishing.
All right, so we're going to go to the last one real quick.
The logistics, though. Let's get to the logistics. We know that Black women are earning college degrees faster than anybody else. Many of us are doing like we're doing, Ayanla. We're getting those terminal degrees, those JDs, MD, PhDs. We also are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, along with Latina women in America. Pew Research said that women are now out-earning men in 22 of the largest cities in America, including where I live, New York, DC, LA, you name it. When we talk, and I know that you've said that you cannot teach a man or tell a man how to be a man, so I will not ask you to indict men in this question, but I do want you to speak, Ayanla, to how women need to, position ourselves so that we can be in our divinity, so we can have our crowns right, how we can create and not build, when some of us, quite frankly, feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned to protect nor provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. They're not earning the income. They're not having the resources, and some of them are not even showing up in the leadership.
Would you date a bus driver? You. Would you date
If
a
he
bus
owns the
driver?
bus, if he owns
No.
it, if he owns the bus,
See, that's a
Iyanla.
problem. That's a problem. That's a problem
Okay.
because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about
Mm-hmm.
that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who
Mm.
we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver
Mm.
if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of
Mm-hmm.
integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus driver. But we think that it's another human being's responsibility to give us what we need instead of us building together. I can build with a bus driver.
Mm.
I'd have my little stash over on the side in my prenup, but I could build with a bus driver.
Mm-hmm.
So I think some of the criteria that we look for in the reality of today keeps us
Mm.
unhappy, keeps us angry,
Mm.
keeps us imbalance. And then when the men show up, we want to beat them up because they're not living up to our standards and criteria. And it's not working, beloved. It's just not working. So it's not that it's bad or wrong, it's obsolete.
Mm-hmm.
It's obsolete.
Mm.
We have to come up with a new way of being. I don't believe in carrying a man. A man has to do for himself. My son got his first job when he was 9. 9. Okay? Because you're a
No.
black man, you will know how to take care of yourself. But I think the way we measure it, it's just obsolete.
So
Mhm.
that's it for that. So definitely you guys can break down your commentary on that, and give me feedback on what you guys feel.
There's so
Um,
much. There's so much, and I mean, again, I'm gonna have to really struggle to make this brief, but I'm gonna give myself about 5 minutes. Try to get this all out. Okay, very deep conversation. A lot of information is being given. We'll have a whole separate show where we can dissect some of those ridiculous things Ayanla said. Because whoa, there's a low key misandrous feminist in there too. That's a whole other conversation. Um, but Ebony K. Williams, the reason why so many people I think kind of jumped out the window with her is that she's just kind of oozing misandry. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't. If someone else would have made this comment, I don't think it would have gotten the legs that it got. But Ebony K. Williams, when you watch her, her body language, her everything about her is condescending. Everything. Everything about her is condescending and sideways and, just kind of hateful, and very dismissive, and you can tell that she's one of these hardcore feminist misandrists, that has everything in the world that she can tell you that you need to do for her. But, I don't think, when you really look at her and you examine how she moves and you see how she speaks, she doesn't really care very much about what she brings to the table and what she presents. And I really honestly feel sorry for her because if you listen to what she's saying in this dialogue with Ayanla, she's kind of asking Ayanla for some guidance, because she knows that she don't have the answers, but she's so arrogant, such a pissant, you know what I'm saying? That even though she knows she doesn't have the answers, she's still insisting, you know, on herself being right and herself having some answers. She knows something, right? And so like when the bus driver question comes up, anybody can have whatever preference they like, right? But when she responded, just the whole demeanor with which she responded, we just kind of all got that bougie chick, who looks down on everybody vibe. And in that particular clip, there was no hardcore evidence of it, right? But in subsequent clips, when people really started grilling her about it, DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club got in her ass about it. You understand? It was clear and prevalent that she was who we thought she was. She was looking down on the average everyday person. She was shitting on the everyday person. She started talking about how, in her rebuttal to this video, because people got on her ass after this video, because not because I don't think of the comment, but because of the misandry and the attitude and the bouginess, or you looking down your nose at the average everyday working person. People could feel it in her whole commentary. While Yon was talking, she's making faces and she's rolling her eyes and she's looking off to the left or whatever the case may be. That's really what people were upset about initially. In addition to the comment, there's absolutely nothing wrong with dating a bus driver. But I think that there are just so many other layers. You know, she's an older woman, and I feel like she's having to come to grips with the fact that the quote unquote ballers that she want ain't checking for her no more. She's aged out of the dating pool. I think she's very angry about that. And it showed in some of the subsequent commentary she made, because she said, hey, you guys who disagree with what I said, you probably made C's and D's in school. Where did she get that fact from? You know what I'm saying? You probably made C's and D's in school because you disagreed with what I said about not being willing to date a bus driver. And then she goes into how, we have to stop accepting mediocrity. And if we co-sign bus drivers and the average everyday working person, basically, then we're co-signing white supremacy, because we're encouraging Black people to be lazy and continue to be mediocre and average. This is why everybody's dragging her ass. You understand what I'm saying? Because she sounds like a moron. And at the end of the day, you can't come on a nationwide platform talking this type of stupid shit. You're supposed to be educated. You're supposedly, a journalist. This is why I say all the time, and I'm talking about all the time, how the boule and, intelligentsia, academia has failed Black society. If you get to this point, and the most intelligent thing that you could think to do, instead of reaching back and trying to help and trying to empower, is to look down your nose at and pontificate from where you are towards the people that are, in your mind, beneath you. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, everybody jumped all over her ass, as they should. You can have your own preferences, but I draw the line at shitting on other people who don't meet the line of where your preferences are. I'm sure there are plenty of women out there who wouldn't date a bus driver, but they don't have the disposition towards the average everyday working person that this woman does. It was really despicable to listen to, the type of things that she was saying about everyday people. DJ Envy pointed out, hey, these are the people that buy your books. These are the people that come to your lectures. These are, this is your audience. These people should be important to you. You don't care about them. And all she kept doing is reciting these, statistics, it just kind of rang hollow, because she's never, ever talked about empowerment of Black people or helping Black people or anything like that. All of a sudden, when she says some stupid shit, she's Harriet Tubman. Fuck out of here, man. No, it just don't go like that. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, you want to invoke your Blackness now, and you're, Coretta Scott. Stop it. Sounds like an idiot. I mean, it was hard to watch. It really was. And she won't shut up and just take the game and learn from it. And, listen, take the game and learn from it and come back a better person, or come out and apologize. No, that's too much like being accountable. And what does Kevin Samuels talk about? The need to be right. Everybody's telling this woman that she's wrong, but the need to be right won't let her just admit, hey, I'm wrong. Maybe I should dial this back some. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you can have your preferences. You can have your opinions, but opinions can be wrong. People always use that as a cop-out. As my opinion. Well, your opinion can be wrong. And your preference can be, not necessarily wrong, but wrong-headed and misguided. And I feel that, her preference in this case is precisely that. And I'll land my plane.
Definitely. I just want to point this fun fact in real quick before I let Bobby Drake go. 60% of Americans make less than $60,000. I mean, 60K a year. 82% of Americans make less than 100K, and 92% of Americans make less than 150K.
Yes.
Um, our the United States of America was built off of the middle class. That isn't the It's not the 90K or higher class. You're talking about the 30 to 60 K class is what America was built off of. That is the price range of the people in that class.
Real talk.
So you got to understand that these are the people that are out here making the money. These are the people that are living everyday lives and building and having these homes that you see in Miami Gardens. These aren't the 80, 90K people that have homes in Miami Gardens.
Right.
These are the people that have the everyday jobs, that work as a bus driver, that works as a public works department in your city municipalities, that get benefits and things like that that help them out in the long run. The 401ks that they can draw out. These are the people that are the ones that you look at with the nice cars and think that they're making a bunch of money, and they're really not. Um, but they understand how to utilize what they make and make it powerful enough for them to live the life that they need to live.
Right.
To be honest, a lot of people are living above their means. And whether she wants to admit it or not, she is living above her means. She will never address that. Ebony will never address that. But when you get these career women, a lot of times they come with a lot of baggages, a lot of financial baggages because they want a lot. They want the luxurious lifestyle. So that's why they go to school to get 2 different degrees, and I know she's degreed up in multiple areas. With these degrees, they come with a hefty load. And I talked about this before with men, and myself included. I've walked away from women after knowing them and knowing that they racked up on so much loans. I walked away from these women.
No doubt.
If I'm not reckless enough to put myself in that predicament, why would I getting involved with a woman and me being the man that I am, because you heard what she said. She said she's looking for provider and protection, which
Right.
is what majority of women look forward to when they dating a man. You look for the
Mm.
provision, the protection. Yes. Guess what? In order for me to provide for you like the idealistic structure of a man, that means I have to take on majority of the bills. So guess what? Your student loan is part
Hmm.
of my debt,
Right.
because guess what? When you get married and that's the goal, your debt is my debt now. It's no different than when you women get involved with men that owe child support. When y'all
Yep.
get married, that's y'all child support.
Right.
That money comes out of y'all joint account.
Teach.
It ain't his no more. It's yours. And that's why I tell women, you can do the same thing as having boundaries when it comes to that. Find out what's going on with that man. Because I wouldn't want a woman to go out here and sponsor another guy's reckless behavior because he got 5 or 6 different children and is put on all type of child support. And
Right.
now you are involved with this man, and now your burden is on him, because guess what? You might not even have any children. And now you married this guy, and now you have legally 5 children too. You
Come
know what I'm
on now.
saying?
Yeah.
So I don't, we got to be careful. And that's why I say preference is preference. You can have your preference. Just like I say that I can walk away from women that acquire all those debt with the bills that they get from these degrees,
Yeah.
that's my preference. I'm gonna have people that's gonna come at me and bark me down for my preference. But guess
Hmm.
what? I don't shit on nobody that has degrees. I've never shitted on anybody that has degrees. That's the difference between me and Ebony.
There you
I don't
go.
look down on somebody because they have degrees, because guess what? You have a degree and you don't have the debt like that. I'm cool with that.
Mm.
If you have a plan about how you're doing everything, I'm cool with that. And sometimes you'll run across women that their finances don't have nothing to do or interfere with you because of the way they set it up and budget it. So it's outside of their realms. Just like you have
Right.
women that have multiple children, and those children don't need anything under their household. But if you're under the household, then you're going to get the luxury of being under the household, because if you're under my household, you're going to have the access to the food and everything like that. I'm going to provide for you and make sure that everybody under my household eats. That is my preference when I engage with somebody with children. But
Right.
there's a difference when you don't, it's not an obligation, because now if I take up a woman with 6 children and she's struggling, guess what? All of those, that's my 6 children. So all the guys that left the responsibility behind, now I have that responsibility. You see what I'm saying? And I have that burden. And I
Right.
don't think that is fair for me. Outsider look at it like, damn, you don't even have no children and you taking up 6 children on top of you. That's not fair to that man right there. Now, if I choose to do it and I'm cool with it, then that's fine. That's my
Right.
preference. You
Hmm.
feel me? So we have to understand that people have different preferences, but you don't have to kick anybody or be disrespectful about it when talking about it. I don't down a woman with multiple children, because I
Right.
know people that have multiple children that actually live better than women that don't have any children. It's all
Hmm.
about how you set yourself up and discipline yourself. Just like I tell the same logics of that is the same logics that I tell women. I say, you guys are running around here looking for six-figure guys, and tell you the truth, a lot of those six-figure guys have so much damn debt and bills and pressure. Don't you look at some of them 6, 7 figure guys? They lose 1 ounce, something goes down the hill, and guess what?
It's a
They
wrap.
offing their whole children. They killing their children and killing their wife and killing
Yeah.
themselves.
Hmm.
We see the domestic suicides in 6, 7 figure households when things don't go wrong. But the bus driver now, he sets himself up. He lives in within his realms. He built himself slowly. And guess what? He understands that if something happened tomorrow and things crumble, guess what? He could survive because he's been there before and he knows how to handle it. So it's not about what a person does, it's about how they manage what they do. And
Agreed.
one thing that I did want to point out before I give it over to Bobby is I agree with you, Major, when there was something that I didn't like. And I like a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I like Ayana because she holds a lot of women responsible for their and hold them accountable for their bullshit. And
Yeah.
even when you listen to it, if you was listening to her, she told you, she said that I was not a perfect mother myself. I was out here being a toxic mother. I was
It was
running around here
horrible.
thinking I was doing something great, and I wasn't. And
Hmm.
just having self accountability and being on a national stage like that and admitting that you were wrong because you were going down the same road that a lot of these women are going down here, exuding this masculine energy that's only going to leave you in a train wreck. And she said that I lost my husband, I lost my house, I lost all of this stuff because I
Right.
was running down here thinking that I was to build. No, my man is supposed to build. I ain't supposed to build. My man is supposed to build. We can build together, but the main architect in that household is the man.
Right.
The man is the leader. The man is the one laying down that foundation. He is the architect. So when she held accountable, and I love how she just, man, she was basically throwing body shots at Ebony, and Ebony
Yeah.
couldn't do nothing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I like that. And I like the interview with her and Ayana because Ayana did it. She had no game. She wasn't playing no BS. I didn't like the interview with Charlamagne and Envy because Envy, even though he was saying some good points,
Mm.
he was getting his ass whooped. He made
You think
Ebony
so?
whoop him.
I don't
Yes,
think so at all.
yes,
Mm-mm.
no.
He was
Ebony
just
was
loud.
whooping him.
He was
I'm
just
telling
loud.
you. No, 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 no. Ebony
Mm.
was whooping them because let me tell you something about Envy. And Envy gets whooped. Envy gets whooped pretty good on that show. Because when he was going at it with what's his name? Oh gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Uh the dude who rap up there.
I think I
What's
know
the
who you're
big
talking
rapper?
about.
Um
Uh,
oh gosh,
Not
dang,
Beans.
what's the
No, no, Beans is getting on. Beans is getting on Charlemagne.
no, the one that was
Uh,
up there with Keisha Bottoms, the fat rapper,
Killer
was
Mike.
it
Killer
was
Mike.
it Troy?
Remember?
Oh,
Yes,
my. Okay.
yeah. Remember when he was on there with Killer Mike? Killer Mike was eating his ass up when he was talking about public schools and private schools and all that. Killer
Mm.
Mike, man, body blowed Envy up. It was
I agree with
sad.
that. I
It
agree
was
with
sad.
that.
Yes,
Ebony
but
wasn't making no point. She was plebiscite babbling and just
no, no, no,
talking loud
no.
and
What
talking
up?
over him. She didn't
Yeah,
say
but
shit on that
see,
show.
yeah, but what you got to understand, Major, and you got to admit, if you don't know how to put somebody in their place, you
Mm.
lose that battle. No matter what she says, if you're not making any arguments to debunk what the hell she's saying, you're
Mm.
losing that battle. And you have your co-host Charlemagne that's co-signing her. So it even makes, and then she had two other chicks on there that was kind of co-signing her. So
Mm.
she was jabbing them up. I'm telling you, dog,
He
go
just.
on.
I think he just let her talk for too long.
No,
That's what I
man.
think. She
I'm
didn't make no
telling you,
solid
go
points.
go under, go underneath. I'm telling you, dog. Listen to what I'm telling you. Go
Mm.
underneath. Go to the interview on Breakfast Club and go
I
in the
did.
comments and go in the comment section. You went in the
Mm.
comment section?
I saw the
Okay.
comment section.
Maybe I saw
So
later
where
on and you're trying to
the
message
comments
about
was
it.
in favor of who?
No, the comments was definitely in favor of her. I agree with that. But
That's
I
what
just.
and that's what I'm trying to tell you. The only reason now go to the
Mm.
comment section under the Ivana page and see who's that in favor. When you
Mm.
have people that's talking nonsense, it's very important for you to hit these points and not everything she was saying because you know what happened? Like you was pointing out, when she went on the Breakfast Club, she
Mm.
flipped it and she started making herself seem like a philanthropist and she was out here doing
I
all this
agree.
stuff and she was making all these points and he didn't stop that. So that's what it's the same thing what I was telling you about Candace Owens. They feed you bullshit and wrap it up with some truth and now you get a whole BS burrito. But see, if
He
you
allowed
don't
her to build a
break
case, so that's
down,
where he messed up at.
Yeah, like I said, he let her talk too long.
yeah, but you
That's
got it.
that's that old that's that old quote they have or that old legal wisdom they got from the legal system where it says if you have the law if you don't have the law, argue the facts. If you don't have the facts, argue the law. And if you don't have the facts or the law, then bang on the table and yell like hell. So in other words,
That's what she
don't
did.
sit back because and it's funny, but it's effective because ultimately when
Okay.
you let people just pile out and babble like that, what it does is people in most cases don't have the ability to sit there and really get the nuances of things, especially when it's live. When something's recorded or whatever, you can go back, you can analyze and chop it down. Then you can get into all the nitty gritty and see, okay, well, this is what's wrong, this is what's off, whatever. That's why things like debates are such a very much a case of like a live chess match type thing because you have to know how to handle the debates. You have to be able to steer things the way you want. You need to be able to debunk things and call it out in real time. If you just sit and let your opponent squiggle and squirm right there, you
Mm.
sitting back and not saying anything, even if they sound crazy, if you're not uppercutting them or at least highlighting, you see how crazy you sound, whatever,
I agree with that.
people are gonna think, okay, he can't touch it, he can't stop it. Sometimes it's not always about the facts per se, but it's the perception of it. So the perception
Agreed.
is she's out here making her case, whatever, and he can't say anything to that.
Mm.
I
If you
get
look
where
back
you're
later,
coming
like,
from.
yeah. So I feel I'm gonna have to watch that to give my feedback on it. But if that's where it's coming from, then I see what Ant's driving at there.
I see where Ant's going with it. But I'm looking at the totality of her argument. She wasn't saying shit. But I
She
get where
wasn't.
you come. I take your point. That he
She
wasn't
wasn't.
rebutting her as she went. He let her talk way too much. He let her move. He allowed her to move the goalpost. I do
Yeah.
agree with that. But he did check her ass at the end and
He
told her,
he
hey, you're just moving the goalpost and you ain't saying shit. But it was way at the end. So
yeah,
I
but
hear
see,
what you're saying.
that's what I'm saying. So like this is what makes us, and anybody that knows us, this is what makes us thorough, is that we will stop you live in a debate and debunk the bullshit you just said. Just like we had previous episodes ago when the woman came up here and she
Yeah.
was talking about well, you can be born gay. And I'm like, no. No, let's analyze that part because that's false. We're
Right.
not gonna let you run with that bullshit. And guess what she did when I chopped her down like that? Guess what she did? She says, "Oh well, I think."
Right.
No.
In
Don't
my
think.
opinion.
See, exactly. So while you breaking it down and you making sure that you cover every point,
right,
that bullshit flies out, and that's when they get mad. And just like she did, she just hauled ass up out of here.
Right.
Because they know, like a lot of people know when they're dealing with somebody that has a strong aura or a strong sense of what they're talking about.
Right.
And they know that they don't engage in emotional babble. So you can't come at me emotionally because I'll shut that down too. Because I'm not coming with emotions, I'm coming with facts.
Right.
So once they see they can't win in that way, that shit goes all the way up. And a prime example of that was Dr. Umar versus three people on the Roland Martin. And he bashed all of their ass up with facts. And Roland Martin and his boule people thought they were coming with facts. And guess what they did? When he was bashing their ass up, they start calling him. And then when Dr. Umar called him coons, then Roland was like, no, we ain't gonna do that on the show. And he like, okay, so why your people started calling names first?
Right.
If we out here talking about facts, you see what I'm saying? You break people down when you're a very powerful person with knowledge. You can take somebody off their square easily. And he knocked all three of them off their square and exposed them for the lack of knowledge that they truly have. And that's why I say what makes this platform so powerful is that we have brothers on here that don't come with the bull crap. So while you can be a superstar with the bullshit emotions on that platform, you come on this shit, it's a whole different
light
story.
your ass up. Yeah. I wish she would have
story.
came on here. I wish she would have came on here with that bullshit.
And it would have been a whole different outcome. It would have been a whole different outcome. She came on here. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference. And that's why I say Envy gets his ass jabbed up a lot. Now, I appreciate the brother for trying, though. He did do his thing with trying. I give him that. Because that was one of the best jab matches I seen Envy in, to be honest.
Yeah, he's getting better. He's getting better.
He is. But I think that
should be getting better.
You say what?
You get your ass tore up enough times, you should be getting better.
Yeah, you should be getting better.
I hope you ain't getting black eyes and bruised ribs for no reason. God damn.
Real talk.
Yes, you should be getting better. So when we look at it, we always make sure that we come at a way where we are putting out facts, and that's why I just gave you guys the statistics of that. And shout out to Kevin Samuels, late great Kevin Samuels. I think they should name Cinco de Mayo should really be Kevin Samuels' day. I think he needs to get his day. Kevin Samuels does deserve that. And
Agreed.
why I brought that statistic up is because Kevin Samuels comes with facts. So he tells you the statistics of what the average man makes in society. And he's always come with facts. He's always give you statistics on this, the black man, this and that. he holds men accountable and he holds women accountable. And
Agreed.
I think a lot of people now are starting to realize what's going on because the information he left behind, they are now changing their lives for the better because of it. But he's no
Right.
longer here for them to share their story and give him credit for it. But it's
Mm.
always like that. It's always that type of scenario when we come with people that's out here trying to correct the behavior and do better for our people. They're going to always look like villains, and the people that ain't doing shit for our community, like a Derek Jackson, get looked at as heroes and motherfuckers that know what they talk about, but they get caught in their bullshit in the long run.
Real
So I
talk.
definitely wanted to point that out, and I definitely hand it over to you, Drake, and you could chime us home with that one.
Now, just to touch on what was said, because there's a lot of heavy material that both of you all laid out. Um, what I will say is that you look at, you're not always able to do so, but it's important if you can to kind of get a feel for where people are coming from. Because, like I mentioned at the beginning when we first kicked off the episode today, your environment and your background will play a huge role into how you see things and do things and interact with the world around you. I had an old pastor that referred to it as the nest. You always go back to the nest. The nest informs a lot of how we think and move and operate. And I believe it was the first video that was shared, the first part of the interview that you shared, um, where Ebony sort of told on herself in a way, and she let it be known. Look, perhaps, and she said, perhaps I've always been in this mindset of, be my own protective provider because I've never known what it is to have a man to secure me in that way. I didn't have my father to do that either. So I've never known what it is for a man to secure me in that way. And that right there, I think, was the most important part of the whole interview because everything that was said after the fact, not just what was said, but the way she responded, who reacted, her facial expressions, everything that she said, and even the subsequent interviews where she kind of doubled down on her rhetoric, whatever, all of that was based in what she said. She has never had a man to secure her. And when she said that, um, I truly did feel some compassion for her. I really did feel some sympathy for her because um, I saw in everything that she said. That didn't make what she said any less nasty or bitter, what have you. Um, but in everything that was said, I did see a little girl who probably had to deal with things, encounter things that she shouldn't have had to deal with, didn't have answers that she needed because her father, for whatever reason, wasn't there to do for her what every little girl needs a daddy to do for her. So I felt for that. And I think when she even asked Ayana, if I'm wrong, please correct me because I want to I think she was telling the truth. I think she's a woman who's been trying to basically be her own father, be her own protector, provider, and that's hardened her. That's made her resentful. That's made her bitter. That's made her very, porcupine-ish, the spikes. And I think she really was looking for an answer that was going to basically melt her and allow her to become that little girl in that moment. And I have a couple friends that talk about that concept, but it doesn't matter how accomplished a woman is, how old she might be, what she's done, what she's seen, the accolades she's acquired. Every woman wants that space where she's able to become that little girl again, where she's able to feel safe and just take the big girl panties off, whatever, take the work boots off, and just be that feminine piece. The issue is whether or not they're in their own way or if they have someone that's able to give that to them. Unfortunately, taking the mantle on yourself and becoming that for yourself is not going to do you any favors in getting that result. In most cases, it's going to keep that from you. So I can feel that confusion, that anger, and resentment from her and where that's coming from. With that said, though, that's an indication that you need to heal. We have to have a conversation at some point, and I know this isn't going to make me very popular. That's okay. I don't care about popularity. That's not something I've ever strived for. At some point, we're going to have an honest discussion about how many of our women, because I'm not really checking for other people too much. They doing what they doing. I'm dealing with us, family talk. At some point, we're gonna have to have a conversation about how a lot of these successful sisters, these high earners, these CEOs, these serial entrepreneurs, these sisters getting these big time degrees, the masters, the PhDs, multiple degrees. At some point, we're gonna have to have a very real conversation about how a lot of these women are unhappy. Not just unhappy, but they're dealing with all manner of unresolved trauma and issues, and they're using work, they're using school, they're using vacations, they're using success, they're using accolades, all these external things to try and make themselves feel better and to mask and to cover up the junk and the gunk that's clogging their insides,
Mm.
spiritually and emotionally.
Real talk.
Because men are known for doing this, and we'll typically talk about men. I know the big buzzword back in the '90s, at least in the early 2000s, was the midlife crisis, and about how a man hits 40, whatever, he hits 50s, whatever, and to make up for the life that he missed out on in his 20s or 30s from grinding hard, whatever, he'll go out and buy a red sports car, a Corvette, a Porsche, and he'll go and start, if he's single, he'll start dating a young hot model, or he'll go and shoot his wife with some new college student or whatever, and he'll be out in the town living it up, and this is him kind of letting his hair down, he's unwinding. And that was a big thing back then, the whole concept of the midlife crisis for men. We don't talk about what that midlife crisis looks like for women when they have trauma, when they have life that they basically missed out on, and now they're trying to get this second leash on life or make up for lost time. We
Mm.
need to talk about that. And because unfortunately, a lot of the ways the coping mechanisms may yield some positive outcomes and results, we think, okay, well, that's fine, it's no big deal. But no, because if it's a coping mechanism used to put band-aids on the problem as opposed to fixing the problem, still not healthy. And if anything, I'd argue that those coping mechanisms, those positive coping mechanisms in that regard, are actually worse because it's harder to see the actual issue for what it is. If she's
Right.
out here throwing her body on the street all over, letting every Tom, Dick, Harry, and Waldo run up in her or whatever, or she's out here strung out on drugs or crack, it would be easy to say, well, she has an issue that she's running from. She needs help to deal with this, or to handle this. It would be easy to point that out. But because her coping mechanism looks like multiple promotions of work, multiple businesses, regardless of the state of the business, another story, multiple degrees, whatever, well, she must be doing just fine. But yet she still goes home every night unfulfilled. There's still that ache inside of her. There's still that something's missing, and other things that can result from that. So we need to get into the weeds with that one. But also tying to that, I want to refer to a quote or a comment that was made on one of my friend's posts on the subject. And she said, I'm just going to read verbatim what she said. She said, bruh, those women didn't have hardworking fathers in their homes. And she didn't hear this portion, whatever, because everyone just saw the clip. They didn't necessarily go and listen to the whole thing. But he said those women didn't have hardworking fathers in their homes. They wouldn't be so disconnected from reality if they did. They've allowed reality TV and social media to warp their perception of relationships and family. This is tie into when we were talking about them dating profiles earlier, these women that are basing themselves off of these images they're seeing.
Mm.
I'm saying this as a woman whose father was a blue collar worker, married my mother, and is heavily involved in his children's lives. These women, like their misogynistic male counterparts, did not grow up in homes where their parents were partners and their fathers were present. They don't know what partnership or provision looks like.
Mm.
And
Heavy.
that right there is a large part of the issue. People are out here, whether it's talk about preferences, whether it's women talking about they need men making six figures, who pay all the bills, and who the women don't have to work, they get to spend their own money, whatever, and do all this other stuff, another nonsense, what have you. To women saying that they can't date a dude that drives the bus, whatever. When you look at the frame of reference, a lot of these people do not have fathers that were in their
Mm.
lives. And if they did have fathers, in some cases, the fathers weren't worth having to begin with.
Mm.
So they're trying to reconstruct what it looks like, which is okay to do. You know, if you don't have it, if you, you know, if you didn't have a good father growing up as a man, take it upon yourself to be a great father. That's absolutely, you can create the reality in that way. But when you start getting way out into space with it,
Mm.
you're coming up with nonsense and gobbledygook that's not reality based, that's not realistic, that doesn't make sense, it's not practical. Then that's a different issue. But it stems from the lack of having that structure in your home environment. You don't know what it looks like. People who have that background, they look at you and you sound crazy. And like my boy said in that same post where that sister commented on, he went and did like a whole long, lengthy critique about how he grew up with his blue collar father, who was a UPS postman, and
Yeah.
how for 30 years, no matter what, working 8 to 12 hour days, 5, 6 days a week, he and his brother never wanted for anything. They had the best clothes, went to great schools. They had, you know, the toys they wanted. He was big in games. He never missed a game release that he wanted. All these things, a great, wonderful life that was provided for by his blue collar father.
Mm.
So people who grew up that way, they hear this, they realize that this is nonsense, it's bullshit. But the
Mm.
people who share a background like Ebony's, who they can't testify to that, they don't know what that looks like. For them, this sounds wonderful at
Feasible.
tops,
Yeah.
plausible at worst. So again, the background. And this is more of a reason why we need to be very intentional about the situations we're creating for ourselves. We need to get back to this nuclear family. Stop selling for being baby mamas and baby daddies out here.
Real talk.
Oh, you know, you can raise a child as a single mother, as a single father. You don't need to have a mother, father in the home. You know, you can play both roles. Listen how this broad's talking.
Real talk.
Self-proclaimed single mother child raised in that environment. Does it
Mm.
sound like she came out properly functional and healthy? Not to me.
Mm.
And again, it doesn't manifest itself until later on in life. But when you see how far whacked out people are, you understand, well, she has no frame of reference because she had no father in her home. Regardless of
That's
how
all you need.
whether her father died and passed away, was locked up, never wanted to have a child in the first place, whatever the situation may be, this is a child who was raised in an environment without a father, without a parent.
I,
Look at the
The
mess.
family matters. You need the mother. You need the father. They need to be together, married in the home, working in concert, so your boys and girls can see this is what it looks like.
Hmm.
Not no fairy tale mumbo jumbo that wouldn't even make a good soap opera.
mm.
I'm gonna land my
I
ATV
need.
right there and get gas on it.
I just wanted to add with something that came that was pointed out that I think I'm not sure if everybody picked up on it, but she says right before she asks Ayana the question, or Ayana asks her the question. She says, "I've dated all men in all aspects, meaning Asian, Indian, Arab,
Hmm.
I tried to
white."
leave that one alone. I tried
Black.
to.
No, it's very important.
It
It's
is.
very important to highlight because when she said that, the average person not even realizing she just told on herself.
Hmm.
She just told the world that she is the problem, not the men,
Right.
because you have different men in different cultures. So you can sit back and say what you want to say with black men, but you have dibbled in all cultures and got the same result. So if I'm dibbling and white men act different than black, black act different than Indian, Indian act different than Arabs, Arabs act different than Hispanics, Hispanics act different than Asians. If you've dated all these men with different cultural backgrounds, different personalities, and they
Right.
operate towards women differently, and you failed with all of those men, you got some deep rooted issues that you need to get healed on. Also, do that unmasking of yourself and seeing that you are the problem when you look in this mirror and not project your
Yep.
insecurities on other people that now is backfiring on you in return. So I thought that was very important for people to catch that and understand what she just told you was that I am the problem without even saying it. I just
Because
wanted
the
to add
common denominator is your ass.
When this whole thing first came out, the very first comment I made anywhere was that same exact thing. I said, "You talk about how you've dated them all. You've been with them all. So if you're saying that you've experienced all these different men, whatever that means to you, but she's an intelligent, educated woman, so she
yeah,
understands the power of
exactly.
words. She said what she said.
Right.
If you dated them all and you still got the same result that you got, at what point does the emotional intelligence and the social intelligence kick in to realize, hey, maybe it ain't them, it's me?
Clearly.
When does that
Clearly.
kick in? Or is it always perpetually somebody else's fault, somebody else's problem?
This is the
And then you
thing with
wonder why
these.
here you are going into 40 and
Yeah.
you're just as bitter, you're just as angry, vitriolic. It's bleeding out of you, you're sweating it, and you're in no danger of that changing anytime soon.
See, this
Degrees
is what
don't.
happens with these types that avoid accountability. You know what I'm saying? When you get into that space where I'm hearing an echo, when you get into that space where you avoid accountability all the time and you have a nation behind you that's going to come and coddle you and make excuses for you and not let you know that you're ducking accountability and we can see you and you need to come and you need to course correct. You need to backtrack and course correct. No one's telling her that. You know what I'm saying? And that is the problem. I've spoken on this a number of times where, you got the brothers over here who are saying, hey, yeah, we got things we need to work on and we checking them, we kicking ass and taking names. We're confronting other brothers who are out of pocket. And you got the sisters over here when they, are doing stuff like this. A lot of times sisters will let them off the hook. And just one quick point before we move on to the next segment. you know Envy, a very strong point that Envy did make too, about how this woman's making all these, this commentary on black men and talking about black relationships, and all of a sudden she's a civil rights advocate and all this bullshit. But the person that she was engaged to that also dumped her ass was a white man.
Mhm.
Understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you're talking all this black shit. You understand? But you're playing in the snow. Now listen, if you want to have interracial relationships, knock yourself out. That's your business. But what you're not going to do is sit up here and pontificate from on high about what black people should be doing that are in actual relationships with other black people. You don't get your fraudulent ass up out my face. Like, yo, you need to start checking people like that at the door. You don't speak for black people. You don't speak for black women. You can tell by the contrived way in which she tries to use black talk. She puts on her black scent. You can tell she don't hang around no black people. And at the end of the day, you got
She
this
speaks
40-year-old bird,
exactly like
huh?
an employee. She speaks exactly the way, and she thinks exactly the way you would expect an employee of the Grio, the Root, all these other nigga babble, uh, tether based
Yes.
Sambo esque publication. She speaks exactly like they would speak. In fact, she demonstrated why she has the position she has with them. It makes sense. I see what was on her resume.
She speaks fluent Sambo. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, we can see right through that. You don't hang around no black people. You don't care about no black issues. The only reason you waving this red, black, and green flag right now is because you said something stupid and people were dragging your ass for it. You're a 40-year-old bird that's angry that you can't catch a baller no more because they ain't checking for your ass. Sit your ass down.
And
Oh,
I think one of the things that people um, have to realize and take into context, and I know people want to celebrate people, and when you're watching all these women getting these degrees, it doesn't make you intellectual. You're
right.
not knowledgeable when you get these degrees. You're indoctrinated.
Agreed.
So you regurgitate a lot of what you are told and she makes it seem like she recited something from the pew, which is also a base platform that is biased, politically biased in a way, and
I've
they
tried to
expose
explain this
that,
to people. Yes.
and she ran around and making it seem like it's straight factual, and these are political based stuff, and this goes right back and showing you that how these women that are quote unquote and getting these high earning degrees, or trying to climb the corporate ladder, it's showing you right back in the same circle of Kamala Harris, right? And
Agreed.
Kamala Harris got this degree. She's the AKAs and all this other stuff, and guess what? She too had her husband on national TV kissing the kissing the president's
That
wife
was
in the mouth
crazy.
like that, right? So
See how they glazed over that?
that lets you know between Ebony and Kamala, who
Mm.
dated two white men, who one left her and the other one is kissing another white woman. So what does that show you? That the
Publicly.
masculine energy that's circulating through these women that moves in a feminist type direction, white men don't deal with that shit. They don't
Mm.
even like that.
Hmm.
They are running away from that. And when you see a white man with Kamala, that ain't love. That's a man getting a global opportunity. And he just moved his name up in the ranks because you have a high power, a high name black woman that you got on to join that ride. And guess what? That ride escalated you up to the point and platform that you wanted to, where you could get the real white woman that you want. Because guess what? When Joe Biden croaks, guess who's going to take over with Jill? You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
think people got to look at things in that aspect of it. And I think we overlook that. But I don't want people to run around here thinking that just because you have a degree, that you are automatically knowledgeable. Sometimes
Agreed.
you're an indoctrinated fool, depending on the person.
Good point.
Yeah.
It's another display of how academia has failed Black society, man. It's deep. It's heavy. They
Definitely.
useless.
I recall vividly the very great and very late Dr. Amos Wilson, one of
Mm.
our intellectual juggernauts.
Yes.
He said in a lecture that unfortunately, as the number you can tell an area when the number of black and I'm sure it plays into other things as well too, but he said as the number of black MBAs increases in a city,
Mm.
so almost as a counterpoint, the number of black businesses decline.
Hmm.
Heavy.
You
Heavy.
would think as you have more of us getting gamed up in business or what have you, that would mean more black businesses in those areas, but it tends to be the opposite. Instead,
Yeah.
they tend to take their knowledge, their understanding, their accolades now, and instead of using them to enrich the people, to be that base, that bulwark for economic development in
Mm.
black areas, they take it, they try to go and join some Fortune 500 or some white enterprise. They basically
Real
create a
talk.
brain, and that tends to be true in a lot of other respects as well. And we see that this is no different, unfortunately. So
Mm.
it's not an
Mm.
exception; it's the rule.
No
Real talk.
different. Real talk. So we're definitely running into time right now. So we want to get into our next segment real quick. Hell
Yeah.
no or hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
get
so
it.
we definitely let's get it. Let's get the list going. All right, y'all ready?
Yeah. Hey.
All right, let's go. All right, Meta Gala. Hell
Hell
yeah, hell
no.
no.
Hell
Hell no.
no.
Hell
With a
no.
Nope,
capital
nope,
hell.
nope, nope, nobody, nope, nope, no, nope.
With a capital hell.
Hell no. Jason Black. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. That's our brother.
Oh hell yeah! Salute to the
That's
Black
our brother
Authority.
right there. That's my guy, man.
And when he gets in his bag, the Black Ayatollah.
That guy
Salute to
goes off.
JB.
All
Salute.
That
right,
brother ain't no joke.
Salt and vinegar chips. Hell yeah, hell no.
Hell no.
Fuck no.
Hell yeah.
That's a fuck
Man,
no.
Bobby, you disappoint me.
Look, man. It's something about that unique tang, man.
Ugh.
Those
I
the
can't
hood
do
chips
it.
of choice, nigga.
Oh,
Them the hood
oh
chips
I
of
shit.
don't,
choice.
but I don't mix them with the hot sausage though. So I'm
Mm.
at the borderline. I will not cross the line. I'm
Too
right.
healthy.
I, every
I
now
don't
and
even
then
mess with
I be
women that
craving
eat
that
that
salt
stuff.
and tang.
I don't mess with women that eat that stuff. I don't.
They
I'm not
horrible.
gonna say the jokes I've heard about that,
They
but
stank up the house.
Yeah, I don't.
but you know that.
Nah. All right, basketball wise, hell yeah, hell no.
Hell
Nah,
no.
nah.
I
I don't
wish I
To
even
the
know who
had
dog.
won.
2 more thumbs so I can give that show 4 thumbs down.
That shit is
wedges
garbage.
and wedges and sundress, hell yeah, hell yeah,
Hell yeah.
hell yeah.
That
Yes.
should be like the default dress code for
Top
females, bro.
tier,
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Love
top
that
tier.
shit.
I
Sundress
love a woman
season
in
is
some
a
wedges. I
blessing.
love a woman in some wedges.
Woo.
Mm.
Uh,
And don't miss it.
Modern Family.
Hell yeah.
Modern
Yeah.
Family. What's that? What's
TV
Modern
show?
Oh,
Family?
it's a
TV
comedy.
show? I haven't
Hilarious.
watched it. At least not recently. I don't, is that the one with? Oh, I remember now. With what's the name? The father. What's the father look like again?
The one who used to play Al Bundy?
Is that him?
Yeah, it's him. He's
Oh,
the
okay.
and
I was thinking about
the
something else.
Latin chick. Not Eva
Oh,
Longoria, but the other
okay.
one.
Oh, Modern Family. I don't watch it too. I didn't
Oh,
watch it too much to know about that.
I
That
don't know.
shit is
No,
hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
it's not Al Bundy, the guy who plays him, but it's a different one. But I've seen this show on a couple occasions. I can't recall not laughing when that's come on. So yeah, I'm
That
gonna give
shit
that a
is
hell.
hilarious, bro.
It's so goofy, man.
It's goofy as hell. It's funny
All
as
right.
hell.
Billy Porter. Hell yeah, hell no. Hell no.
Hell no. Oh my god. I cringe every time I see this dude. He is a
Hell no.
talentless hack.
I refuse to even answer that question. And for the record, I'm just saying it right now.
So
I find it an insult. I
that's a
find it
hell
an
yeah for Bobby.
insult, and I refuse. I find it an insult, and I refuse to watch that James Baldwin biopic that he's
Yeah,
Oh my
I think
god.
I think that was a
And in
slide.
fact, matter of fact, my recommendation is when the movie drops, instead of watching that, properly celebrate our dear brother James Baldwin and go watch If Beale Street Could Talk
Yeah.
and I Am Not a Negro. If you really
Yeah.
want to celebrate James Baldwin and his legacy and what he's meant to the people, watch those 2 films. That's what I'm doing that
Agreed.
week. If I'm
Agreed.
not
Billy Porter's a
society.
talentless hack. Yeah.
Lotto.
James Baldwin would not rock with that dude one iota.
Real talk.
Lotto.
Hell
Lotto.
no.
Hell
Hell
no.
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 Oh, she's so disappointing. Poor thing.
Definitely.
Oh,
Brio.
hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Is that the restaurant?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the half bird shit.
Brio's
Um,
lit.
I haven't been in a while. I'm long overdue. I'm gonna have to go ahead and get back up to speed again.
Do
But Brio
yourself
is
that
ahead.
favor. Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan. Hell yeah, hell no.
Hell
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah!
That's my brother.
Another one of our brothers.
Salute to the brother.
Salute.
I feel it's a blessing to be in the era we have cats like Michael B. Jordan. I love how he does the
Yeah.
game. I love how he handles himself.
Yeah.
Um, Not big on celebrity. I don't want to say idols. That's a big term, but role models. But
Yeah.
thus far in the game, if there was
Yeah.
a brother that you'd want your sons or you want to kind of emulate someone or really
Yeah.
follow behind, Michael B. Jordan has proven to be that dude so far. Salute to them.
Yeah,
Sterling
definitely.
example of
And I
black manhood and how to carry yourself. I rock with bro.
and I
So
love the
far.
show. I love the show Saving Dion that he created. That was super dope. With
Okay.
all
Oh,
those black
that was
superheroes.
his brainchild.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
Yeah.
Saving Dion, the little boy with the superpowers. Yeah.
Hmm.
That was a
I'll be
script he wrote.
damned.
Yeah. Um, Woman King. Hell yeah, hell no.
Hell no.
Fuck no. Fuck
Hell
no.
no.
That's my
I
shit.
love viola. I love viola, and it
Yeah.
hurts me to say it, but nah. Everything.
Yeah.
I guess everything can't be a. You got to have a dub somewhere, or
Yeah.
an L somewhere. And I get for her, that's gonna be it. But yeah, that's a
Huge,
no.
huge L. Hashtag garbage.
Um, Black Panthers. The Black Panthers. Is that
Hell
the?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the movie. Hell yeah.
The Black Panthers, the group.
Yeah, yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, them
Yeah.
Absolutely.
brothers. Woo, if you watch the Tupac documentary series yet, bruh,
Yeah.
it lets you know in detail how thorough them brothers was. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Next level. Shout out to all the real legit Panthers, and not the little hanger-ons and the clings, but the ones who were actually legit in the trenches, in the fields,
Man,
weren't butt dancing and bootlicking. Shout out to them.
real
Yeah.
talk.
Appreciate the
Black Lives
sacrifice.
Matter. Hell yeah. Hell no.
Hell
Hell,
no.
no. Not at
Hell no.
all.
That whole AstroTurf bullshit. Hell no.
Burner Boy.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I don't like Burner Boy.
Yeah.
I don't
I
like Burner
go. What was is it the music you don't like, or is there something else going on? What's the story
I
with
just
that?
don't like. I don't know. His music is alright, but then he starts saying that crazy shit about hip hop, and I'm like, nah, I'm good off that.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh,
He says some funny style shit. He does.
he doing
But his
tether
music
babble?
is a beast.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
He's the whole
Hell
Astro.
yeah, hell yeah to the music, but the person
Hell yeah
might
to the
need.
music. I hear you though.
Steph Curry. Hell yeah.
Hell
Fuck.
yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, Steph Curry.
Big Steph Curry with the
Finals this
shot,
year,
boy.
man.
Big ups
Okay,
to
Golden State die hard.
this is gonna be interesting. Normani.
Normani?
Normani.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I rock with Normani.
love
I rock with
love her
her.
music. Love
Yeah,
her
I love
music.
her music. She's on
Like her
my.
music. I like the way she's presented herself thus far. She's a little over
Yeah.
sexualized, but you know, I rock with her so far.
She's
I
on
haven't
More
seen. I
Empowerment
don't know
Radio.
any. Yeah, I don't know anything about her. I've never even seen a picture of her. I just know the music. I love the music, so I don't know
Yeah.
what else she got
She's
going on. But what I hear on the tunes, top tier.
yeah.
So far, so good. Yeah.
She's on More Empowerment Radio. We got her on heavy rotation.
No doubt.
Steve Harvey. Hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no.
That dude is the simp of simps. You don't get more disgusting in the realm of simps than Steve Harvey. Even Derek Jackson capable
That
of Steve
boy
Harvey.
is a whole entire clown. He
Jesus.
he
Pumas.
he
Hell
really is one
yeah.
of the original kings of comedy.
Hell yeah. Pumas. Hell yeah. Hell no.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Pumas.
Always been a
Hell,
fan of Puma kicks. Always
Yeah.
love Pumas.
yeah. I got some Puma kicks that's hard as fuck up there. All
Yeah.
right. Earthquake. Is that the
The comedian. Hell yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah.
He's
Earthquake is
hilarious.
funny.
He'll be.
Definitely a legend in the comedy game. Paved the way for a lot of
Shout out
cats
to Quake.
and a
Yeah.
lot of the solid comedians that I bump and rock with. They speak very highly and got great stories about him. So
They really
Yeah.
shout
do.
out
Yeah.
to him.
Definitely. Jalen Ertz.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Definitely.
Get your paper, young brother. Get your paper.
Get your
Salute
paper.
to you.
All right. So
I like
that's
how
it.
dude move.
That's it for our hell yeah, hell no situation segment.
I rock with it.
All right.
Nice little segment.
So, definitely. Okay, so real quick. It's gonna be real quick.
Yeah.
Oh damn. Let me get into it. Oh, let me go back. All right, so our next segment is question of the day. All right.
All
So
right.
our question of the day is what is a consistent set of behaviors you look for when dating someone before having sex with them?
All right. Got it. I got a real quick answer for this.
Okay.
Real talk. You know, because I have my basic, stuff that I look for, which is, beauty, intelligence, character, respect, just the basic stuff, right?
Mm,
Before having sex with somebody, though, I gotta kind of get a feel for the type of female you are, because there's certain things that will tip me off, certain red flags. I'll be like, I can't have sex with this person. Namely, if you have had sex with other dirty people,
mm,
I just can't. You know what I'm saying? Other people that, I know that just kind of, they'll just bang anything. And I'm not fucking behind them, basically, at the end of the day. So that's one big one right there, right? If
mm,
you have like, you know, a sketchy past or whatever, or I get wind that you have a sketchy past and it's like a consistent thing that I
mm,
can see, from this person to this person to this person is cautioning me about your past, then it might be time to sit down and have a conversation, because, where there's smoke, there's fire most of the time, right? And I know there's this weird conversation going around where women are trying to shame men for not rocking with sisters that have high body counts. You understand
mm,
what I'm saying? But there's a reason for that. There's a safety precaution that's kind of baked into that cake. You know what I'm saying? Because the more that get around, so to speak, the more likely you are to have contracted something. You know what I'm saying? So there's that as well. And then, just the thought process behind, how you approach sex and how you look at sex, your worldview on sex, if you will. If you're a sister that, you just kind of think of sex as just like, a casual activity that you engage with, anybody, or, you're not particularly picky about who you engage with in this manner, I can't rock with you. You know what I'm saying? Those are like probably my three main things that I look at, because sisters will tell you if you ask them, you know, I have a whole bunch of questions that I ask, but my main one that I ask in that capacity is, how do you feel about casual sex?
mm,
And, based on what she tells you, some women will tell you, yeah, if I'm just dating a guy, whatever, and they're really matter of fact about it. They're kind of like, oh, whatever. Some sisters will tell you, I don't engage in casual sex. I don't believe in it. So
mm,
if you think you're going to get some of this without, some type of commitment or something, you're mistaken, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the sisters I'll rock with when it comes to that type of thing. You feel me?
mm,
Because, people talk all this shit about, oh, you shouldn't be judging women on bodies and all this dumb shit. But most women who are worth their salt will tell you, my body is my most prized possession. Okay, cool. If your body is your most prized possession, you shouldn't be hopping from dick to dick like it ain't nothing. You understand what I'm saying? You should be very mindful about who you share your body with. So make sense when you talk to me. If you come with the bullshit, you're gonna get checked. So those things right there are the things that'll make me want to or not want to have sex with a woman. Just basic behaviors, observations, and responses to, certain questions can be deal breakers in that capacity. That's me.
For me, short and sweet,
Yeah.
unhealed resolve issues. That's it. If I see unhealed resolve issues in you, I'm not even engaging in anything sexual because that can come back and backfire on me. I've ran across women that were very sketchy when it comes to that type of stuff. Their mind don't be right, and they go into the frenzy of, oh, this and that. And I'm like, nah, that's very scary. So if I feel like
Mm,
you have unresolved issues, I'm not having sexual relations with you because that can go all the way left. So
excellent.
yeah.
Excellent point. What you got, Bobby?
Um, a lot of the things that I look for, that I keep in mind at least, are things that you guys have rattled off as well too.
Mm,
So it's like every time I was about to say something, like, dang, it just not went off.
mm,
Um, Also, I'm at a point now in life where I've lived long enough and I've interacted with people in different capacities, in different places, what have you, enough times where, for the most part, I can kind of get a sense almost about certain people, certain things. I tend to be a pretty good judge of character.
good.
And I'm at a point now where I found that I've taken more W's by listening to my gut and trusting my gut than when I haven't. And the times when I've ignored my gut, I regret like, bro, you just called this was gonna happen, and here you go like an idiot walking right into things. So I'm at a point now where my life experiences, lived experience as well as secondhand experiences, have ingrained themselves in me well enough where now I'm able to kind of pick up on certain things, and I can just be in a place where this don't feel right, and I don't even necessarily need to have a reason behind it. I just know it don't feel like I don't know why. Maybe I'll get an answer later on. Maybe I won't. But I trust myself enough where if it feels off, I can disengage and that's the end of it. But in terms of what actual things I will look for, one thing that I can say I do keep in mind is a woman who is irrational. I don't want to say
Mm,
emotional because your emotions don't necessarily make you irrational. But if I
right.
see a woman who her thought process is janky, if she's gullible in certain things, she doesn't have a strong mind, or it's easy to fool her, or it doesn't take much, or there's other nonsense and gobbledygook that resides up here as well.
Mm,
If I see that, then I'm not interested because that gives me an impression that you're someone who can be easily manipulated or coaxed into going to certain things, even if it's not in your best interest, even if you know that it's not in your best interest. That as long as it's the right face saying the right words, they can go ahead and unlock and get and do whatever. So that lets me know that you're probably a liability.
ah,
So even if a person like that has a good heart, might have a good character, if you were easily manipulated in that way, or if people can just, come to you, and if they're just persuasive enough, they get you to move off your square, then that lets me know that even if you have good character, you can be easily led astray,
that's
which means you
fair.
can make some of the same bad choices, the same ill moves as someone who doesn't have the same character. So that right there basically is like an override. You know what I'm saying? You might have it's like even if she has top tier character, excellent integrity, what have you, it's like having the world's most secure vault door, impenetrable, can't crack it, can't dig under it, can't break on top of it, can't get around the sides. It's impenetrable. But the damn bank employee keeps forgetting to lock the door. So you're all this. You're 24K solid gold. You're platinum,
Right.
but the door just won't. They didn't get the lock to activate yet.
That's a
So that
problem.
means people can just still come in and out as if there's nothing there. May as well be no security in place in the first place. So if she's gullible in that respect, then I'm checking out because that means who knows what I'm coming behind. Who knows what choices she might make later on. She might go ahead and get played and do something stupid that works against you, and poor damn thing don't know any better. So that's something I take into consideration.
Real talk.
Real
Well
talk.
said.
All right, so we're gonna just I want to play this video real quick before we get into the Queen Crown Check of the night.
Yeah.
Uh, so here's the video right here, and you guys tell me what
So
you think.
earlier this year, I ended a relationship and cut off an engagement from a great man. He was a good man. He loved God. He was a praying man. He loved and adored me. He was there for me. He was handsome. He was well educated. He didn't have any kids. He checked all the boxes. But there was still something missing. And I just knew that I could not go through with this marriage. There was just something that did not connect. I felt that there was should have been a connection between he and I in order for me to be his wife. And so I cut off the engagement. And it was so difficult because he was a good man. It's easy when a person is not good. You can justify why you cut things off, but when a person is truly a good person, it's hard to explain. So I found myself trying to explain it to family and friends, and they were asking me a whole bunch of questions that, I could not say, exactly why, other than the fact that I just did not feel the connection. There was something that was not there that I needed to be there in order for this to be my husband. And so I stopped trying to explain it and I just trusted my decision and I went on. But then I got an epiphany and it was just like, have you ever been shoe shopping and you saw a nice pair of shoes and it's like, ooh, I love the color. I love the style. The heel is the right size and it's a reasonable price. Like it's on sale and it's a good shoe. But then when you approach the shoe, you see that it's a size 6 and you need a size 7. Does it take away from the fact that the shoe is a good shoe? Does it take away from the fact that you're getting a great deal for for the quality? Does it take away from the fact that the heel is still the right size? It doesn't matter. All of that still makes the shoe is still good. But if it's not your size, it's not the shoe for you. And so that is what I had to accept. Yes, he was a good man. But what that feeling was is that he was not a great fit for me. It didn't take away from who he was, but it was just confirmation that he was not a good fit.
Yeah. Um,
Hey
you know,
man.
so I just want to say real quick that
Go ahead.
these are the women that get on social media and
Uh,
talk the most crap about how they don't come across good men after they done ran out a good man or a good
right.
man came their way and they didn't take advantage of it. I will give her credit for at least saving the man because she could have played with him. She could have just went ahead with it and
Yeah.
then end up messing him up even further. But I'm glad she did have the courage to step away and let this man get into a life with a woman that will really appreciate everything he has to offer. He
Real
checks
talk.
off a lot of boxes that most people would consider him a unicorn. By her just looking at her divestment wig, I could tell it was kind of shabby with the uneven cuts of their hairline. Just
Yeah.
lets me know that I think the real reason behind it is that she wants this hood dude that she wants to curate into this type of guy. So she wants the bad guy, the hood dude, that she can curate and change him into a good guy. And I talked about that plenty of times before, how a lot of men and
Mhm.
women have this savior syndrome. So if they
Yes.
feel like they can't save you, they don't want to deal with you. And that's what a lot of these women, um, they don't display it. It's kind of hidden, but that's what they do. And that's what I see with that, because there's
Mm.
no other reason for a woman to basically not deal with a man who checks off the boxes like that. Every woman would love a man that checks off those type of boxes.
Hmm.
And for that to happen for her, that just says a lot about her and not so much about him. And I just, me personally, um, like I said, these type of women complain about it later on down the road, and those are the ones that want to circle back when they have like 5 children, no jobs, nothing going for themselves,
Yeah.
and they wasted uh, their prime era trying to look for their perfect person that they want to get into a relationship with. So that's all I had to say about that.
Bruh. This woman, I, you can't fix stupid. I mean, God bless her. She's entitled to her own opinion. You know what I mean? And about the only good thing to come out of that whole, meme and that video, whatever the case may be, is that she did break off the engagement, but she still wasted this man's time in that she even allowed it to lead up to an engagement. Women always talk about how men waste their time, and this, that, and the third. But with this type of thing, I didn't see that anywhere in the comments about how she wasted this man's time. And she's saying out of her own mouth, this is a great man. Like you said, sounds like a unicorn, right? She's saying this out of her own mouth. And I asked some of the sisters, because predictably, it's always going to be sisters that's caping for this type of stuff from a female whenever you post about it, right? So I said to the sisters, okay, well, she's saying that he was a great man, but just not great for her. And my question is, why is it that very often the great men are not great for you, but the sorry niggas are? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I know some of these women, I know their baby daddies, I know how they talk about their baby daddies, and they're out here caping for this woman, taking not a good, but a great man and just squandering her opportunity with him. I think that women need to come to the realization that there are a finite number of men out here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not. This is not. You don't have infinite options. You know what I'm saying? When you come across a great man, you need to figure it out and make it work. You understand? Like that is an L for the culture. That's a win for that guy. It's an L for her. It's an L for the culture because that's that same type of woman who's going to come back 15 years later talking about, hey, big head, when you got your medical degree or your degree in engineering and you done married another woman and y'all happy and y'all out here mashing. She's going to come back into the picture with her divestment wig, 10 pounds of makeup, and drag queen eyelashes and try to smash everything that you got going for yourself. I'm sorry. The look that she has just tells me that she's going to talk that way. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's unfortunate, but you can kind of look at people sometimes and you can just tell, like you said, the divestment wig was serious. You know what I'm saying? Not a bad looking sister at all. That's another unfortunate one, not a bad looking sister. She seems fairly intelligent, from the way she's speaking. She understands things, she seems pretty self aware, to a degree. But, bruh, I don't like to see sisters take L's, especially self-inflicted L's, rather. Self-inflicted L's. I don't get it. Why is it that the great guy is very seldom the great guy for you? That's the question that I want to hear sisters answer. You know what I'm saying? Because that just don't make no damn sense, what she's saying. If he was so great, y'all should be married and working on your first child by now. That's how I see it. But what do I know? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell do I know? I swear a lot of sisters just, they will snatch, what's that word? What's the term? Snatch victory from the jaws of defeat or something like that. In other words, they'll just find a way to lose.
In
You
this
know what I'm
case,
saying?
the jaws of victory.
Snatch defeat from the
They
jaws of
will,
victory.
they will
Exactly. My
not, they
bad.
will not
It's
deserve you
snatch
in.
defeat from the jaws of victory. They'll just find a way to lose. To me, that's what that video is doing. She's just finding a way to lose because women complain constantly. I see them all day on social media. I overhear them in the supermarket complaining about the poor quality of men that are out here. Where all the good men? That. You got a great one, and you just throw away the opportunity. It's ridiculous, bro. You know what I'm saying? But that's a choice. And I would rather her do that, as much as it annoys me. I would rather see her do that than, get into this man's program and do something stupid and damage him for life, and destroy that family that they would have created. I'd rather see her take this approach. So shout out to her. God bless her. I wish her the best. That's my 2 cents.
I actually coined the whole hashtag behind not just that, but in general, people just, are the cause of their own misfortunes. I just created hashtag self-inflicted gunshot wounds or hashtag Pike Burris, just right in the big toe.
Yeah.
Um, I'm in alignment with you. I don't knock her. My criticism isn't against her as a person. It's more of the decisions she's made. Um, Unlike Miss Ebony K. Williams, hint, 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 you notice how there was no condescension in the voice.
Agreed.
There wasn't any sort of negative. There was actually nothing negative she just said, other than, something was just missing. And she decided to go ahead and fall on a sword, and rather than let things get any further than they were going, which would have been marriage, because they already cleared it to engagement phase, she decided to cut the losses now rather than do it later on. And I don't really see her as a villain in this. I think maybe I'm trying to be understanding here as well.
Right.
I do believe that sometimes there are some intangibles that you can't necessarily check off a list. And it could have been a trait of something that's now, because she seems to be a very respectful sister, it could have been that she does know what was missing and she just didn't want to put it out there. Kudos to her because we need more of that. You have too many
True.
sisters, especially if it's for social media for attention. They'll, even if they do it in a loving way, they'll go ahead and put all your business out there and say, well, damn, you just throwing a man under the bus just for some clout. She didn't do that. So
Agreed.
I give her huge credit for that because I wish more people would do that. You can actually be transparent without putting a whole microscope on your partner. If you want to go ahead and open yourself up for examination, cool.
Right.
You don't have to go ahead and subject your partner to that, especially without their consent. So
Hmm.
big ups are definitely a template to follow. That being said, um, it is possible to have someone who is a great mate in many respects, but they're just not the person for you because, like we talk about with men, especially, you have to be able to fit into someone's system. They fit into yours.
Right.
It could have been that he was a great man in every respect, but just didn't match all the boxes. There's nothing wrong with that. It's possible. Like you said, I don't want her coming back years later on as though she didn't have any opportunities. And I'm hoping she's not going to do that. There's a lot of pros to how she conducted herself. So she might not be one of those ones who do. Or if it does happen, she'll keep it to herself.
Mm.
But I don't want her to be one of those women who comes back later on and pretends as though she never really had a shot. There was never any good, decent dudes around. There was just an abundance
Mm.
of dust and bums and ne'er do wells and stuff.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I don't think she will, but don't do that because I have seen
Yeah.
sisters do that. And there have been some situations where I've actually had inside information. I saw it firsthand, or I knew others who knew the situation. And when they come talking that, poor me, woe is me, or no good men around,
Mm.
if I wanted to, I could bust the whole flow of the day and raise my hand like, objection,
Mm.
Your Honor. That's a new era 5450 snapback cap.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could bust the whole thing up. I'm
Hmm.
not gonna I'm gonna let you live if you don't piss me off. But I've seen that happen. Compatibility is funny in that regard because you do have some people who will do that, and I didn't see her in that light, but I saw this as another side of the coin
Mm.
of what I've taken to coining Tia Mowry syndrome, where you have this abundance of women now who are coming
Mm.
forth in marriages talking about I'm unhappy
Mm.
and they want to get
Mm.
divorced. And went into that, or oh well, I'm not happy anymore. And I believe we're in an era, and I don't necessarily, again, I don't think she fits this mold, but I see it as related, and this is a necessary segue, I think.
Mm.
And it's worth going down that for 3 seconds, where you have to understand that I believe, especially nowadays with social media and everything, we live in an era where there's a number of junkies. And the biggest addiction isn't to opioids, it's not to crack. We have a bunch of emotional junkies.
Hmm.
They chase serotonin, they chase the highs of emotion. Everything has to feel good, everything has to be wonderful.
Hmm.
I'm cutting off everything that doesn't serve me or whatever. Everything's about I want to be happy, I deserve happy, be happy, be happy.
Yeah.
And the truth is, happiness does not necessarily equal fulfillment.
Agreed.
Some of
Agreed.
the most, I actually read something. I didn't even think about it from that perspective. I would have shared it with you all. I read something earlier in the week that was talking about how you have people who search for happiness, but happiness doesn't necessarily make you happy. Purpose can be more fulfilling. Perfect
Mm.
examples you have in the source I was listening to was a podcast. I remember now. He was talking about he was a psychologist. He was talking about how he did talk to one person who worked as a grief counselor just before the pandemic, and he said serving as a grief counselor was one of the hardest jobs he's ever had to do. It's not anything he necessarily envisioned himself doing once he got into psychology. And he oftentimes heard a lot of sad stories, a lot of painful things. And it didn't always feel good. Sometimes you would come home from work, kind of depressed and dejected because of the stuff that he was carrying from listening to these people.
Mm.
But he said some of the most rewarding work he's done in his career was as a grief counselor because knowing that he was able to give comfort to these people who was going through it, who were at the
Dope.
lowest time, giving them hope, that made him feel so good and he knew he made a huge difference in their lives. Was he happy doing the work? Not really.
Mm,
But he felt better. He felt good. He felt like he had purpose. Like what he did mattered in the world. He wasn't doing some bullshit fluff stuff. What he did actually made a real difference. Chasing happiness will lead you to addiction because it's going to push you into a whole bunch of things, whether it's drugs or otherwise, that aren't necessarily best for you. And when you get to this idea that you're in relationships and I'm going to leave because I'm not happy, I don't feel happy anymore, that's not what marriage is about. I commented on that same thing earlier, and I said when we were talking about that, it was a video that I shared. And again, I should have tossed in with this, would have fit in just perfectly. But in a comment I made to someone else, I said, the truth is that when you're not happy in a relationship, that's when it matters the most. And I'll brazenly say this as a never married bachelor, but your marriage really isn't valid until you reach that point and persevere through it. Because more than ever, it seems that when couples hit that bump, that's when they cheat, leave, stop trying, etc. Commitment is about doing what you said you do long after the mood you said it in is gone. It doesn't have a damn thing to do with feelings and emotions. And unfortunately, most people today are no different from crack or opioid junkies in their need to chase an emotional high. So your marriage, the purpose of your marriage isn't to make you happy. If that's the case, get a damn dog, get a cat, get something else. You get a house plant. Probably need to get all those. The purpose of marriage is to build something that is going to outlive you. You come together,
okay.
you have children, you build a legacy, you pass down wealth and resources, you pass your baton to the next generation to prove it. And even if you decide you don't want to have children, it's about building a team where you can take on life together. You make life worth it because you have a partner, you have a comrade, someone who's going to be there for you in the highs and lows. You can share your victories with, you can share your struggles with. You basically have what they would call in the military a battle buddy. If you want to take a negative approach and see life as a prison, well, you're choosing your cellmate, and the right cellmate can make your sentence a breeze or it can make it hell. But you're choosing someone that you can tackle this thing called life with together. That's not always about being happy. Sometimes they're going to get on your nerves, but sometimes you're going to get on their damn nerves too. But it's about someone who's not going to give up on you. They're going to stick there and tough it out with you, and hopefully you will do the same. So if in the end with someone they're great to check all the boxes, but you don't feel like you're going to be able to make that commitment with, then do like the sister did and break it off. And don't feel that because you made it this far that you have to see it the rest of the way. Don't do that. If you really don't think that you're going to be able to tough it out, you feel like there's something missing, call it off. But also, again, preferences. Be realistic now because you're not a perfect person as well. Whether you feel that deeply or not, there's going to be some things that are missing from you to your partner as well too. So what's the trade-off? Can you, if you have 9 boxes checked out of 10, can you live with that one box being missing? Maybe you can. Maybe you can. Maybe that one box is a deal breaker for you, and you're not willing to budge on that. That's cool. Maybe you have several boxes that aren't checked, but they're lightweight stuff. You can live without that. Learn to make decisions in your preferences, like if you're bartering at a store or something. Is this a deal breaker? Can I live without this? Is this necessary? Can I outsource this something else? Can I get this kind of fulfillment from my girlfriends? Can I get this from work? Do I need my partner to supply this for me? Start thinking that way. And again, come to the table with the mindset of this person is not perfect. They're not going to be the flawless individual, but neither am I. I'm going to be lacking for them too. But can what I have go together with what they have, and can we make something beautiful happen? Think on that perspective because it's not all about you. Consider the other person. More people need to do that, and that's where I'm going to land.
Mm. Dope, dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys definitely summed it up pretty good. Um, and I hope everybody take heed to what we said about the situation because you might find yourself in that situation one day, and it's much needed. You know what I mean? Um, so we're gonna get into our last topic for the night, which is crown check.
Yay.
So,
All right.
can you figure out who's the crown check winner for tonight?
Crown check winner for tonight. The topic being
Mm-hmm.
preferences.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I got nothing.
I have a hunch, but I'm gonna wait and see if I'm right on this one.
Yeah. All
I
right.
got
So,
nothing.
our crown check winner for tonight is,
Erica Lachey. All right.
yes, definitely give it up for the sister.
I was
Uh,
wrong, but I'm glad I'm right.
so the sister is super dope. And the reason why she was crown checked for the night is because, we're talking about preferences, and she checks off a lot of box for different type of men. They love her charisma. They love her mindset. She's out here trying to build nations, making sure that black men and black women get together and be out here on the right path. And I think that's super dope. Sister is super dope. Her music is heavily rotated on More Empowerment Radio. And she makes great music. She's just a beautiful soul all around. And that type of woman added in your life can only make you so much better. And definitely wanted to give her props. She's 30 plus years old, United States, African American, musical artist. She's 5'6". I thought she was taller than that, but she's 5'6". Um,
Okay.
and she doesn't. They got her network up here, but a lot of times the network isn't really accurate to what it's supposed to be. Um, so we definitely wanted to give our sister Erica Lachey a shout out for doing such a phenomenal job. And that is up. That is it for the rest of the show tonight, and we appreciate everybody. I hope everybody took heed to what was said tonight and not run around here thinking that you can just play with life the way you want to play with life, because at the end of the day, you have to make choices that's going to benefit you in the right way. And if you don't, those choices might come back and bite you in the butt. So choose wisely, and make sure that we are out here getting on the same page with the people we need to get on the page with. And with that being said, I'll definitely log off, but you guys can take us out and let us know your final thoughts before we get up out of here.
Bet. Let me go ahead and just reinforce it. Shout out to the sister Erica Lachey. Beautiful soul, beautiful sister. She's one of my favorite women to watch and listen to, that are, in the internet community, that are in the Instagram and Facebook and all that type of stuff. She always has something positive to say. She's always promoting Black empowerment. She is a stern, strong sister and a fierce advocate for Black empowerment and for the Black community. Um, she's a thought leader in my view, and I made mention some time ago about how there aren't many thought leaders out here, among sisters. And a sister that we know actually got offended, and I asked her to name three, and she couldn't name one. I'm like,
Mm,
point proven. But and I knew about Erica Lachey, but the point of the matter is, sisters are not gravitating to the Erica Lachey's of the world the way that you would think they would, being that she's so bright and she's so intelligent, and she's a natural teacher. She's very feminine, so forth and so on. You would think, such a positive and beautiful soul, that more sisters would gravitate to her. But most of the people, that really rock with her and that really gravitate to her and what she's saying, from what I know, are men.
mm,
Very interesting. You know what I mean? But Sukihana, she's got 500,000 fans. You know what I'm saying? So we have a long way to go, but this
mm,
sister is extraordinarily thorough in the way that she moves. You never see her carrying herself like less than a lady. And unfortunately, in today's environment, that's kind of rare. But I really, really rock with sisters like that. Her Jade Arendelle, that's another example of a sister who carries herself in that type of capacity. Not to take away from the crown check, but Sister Erica and other young sisters like her. I need to see more of that. Sister Erica, keep doing what you're doing. We rock with you. As far as the concept for today, preferences, folks, let's just keep it a buck. Let's do what we got to do out here and make it so that our preferences are reasonable and they make sense. And make it so that when we step out into the dating game, we're able to give off some of the things that we're requesting, or most of the things that we're requesting, ideally, when we start talking about preferences. Let's not have this pie in the sky view of this person that we want, and we're not bringing anything to the table. That don't even make sense, y'all. Let's just keep it a buck. Let's keep those preferences real. Let's keep them sensible. And let's make it so that when we are articulating what our preferences are, we're not shitting on other people. That's totally unnecessary. And, that is why, you have this turd in the punch bowl thing going as far as the dating and relationship environment is concerned, because you got people out here that don't know how to articulate what it is that they want without being angry and bitter and disrespectful to others, and when you put that type of energy out, that's what you get back, you know. So preferences are very important. Everyone should have them. Keep your standards high, but also keep your output high. And I'll land my plane there.
Definitely. Go ahead, Drake. You're on mute.
We can't hear you, bro.
Let me unmute
Drake? Yeah, you on mute, bro.
You're on mute.
You can't unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Mm.
Hold on. Let me see.
Can you
All
unmute
right,
him, Ant? Yeah.
there you go.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, weird. Technical difficulties. My whole thing just froze up on me just now.
Uh-oh.
Apologies for that. But yeah, big salute and shout out to Sister Erica Lachey. Loving the choice, sweet sister, wholesome person, love it to death. I feel terrible. I actually didn't even know that she was a music artist. So I just went ahead and made sure I gave her a good old fashioned Spotify follow, so she got a new fan over here. Definitely want to shout out because apparently she has a not brand new, but she did drop a single recently back in February called Stingy. So make sure y'all go ahead, give that some spins, show that some love.
Dope.
Support the sister. I'm definitely a big fan of and a big proponent of supporting what you want in the world a little bit more than you go ahead and criticize and condemn what you don't want in the world. I'd rather go ahead and water the plants as opposed to just focus on pulling the weeds. So the weeds can do what they do. I'll pull them from time to time, but I'd rather focus on fertilizing and watering the
Right.
plants and the roses. So go ahead and water that, sister. You want to see more Erica Lachey's in the world? Support the ones you got now. Don't sit back and just bitch and moan and whine. Oh, well, do we have any decent women? And then you have them right here, and they're just wilting by the wayside. What's the point of that?
Good talk.
But to close out the evening, one of I've said this for quite some time now, for a long time, and I'm going to always harp back on it. There's no magic or trick with preferences and dating for the most part. It's relatively simple. You have your preferences. Other people have their preferences as well too. You have your type. Your type has type as well too. You can set your preferences. The question is, are you able to attract your preference? That's the trick. Your standards can be what they are, but you need to make sure that you are the standard as well. So my advice has consistently been the same. It'll always be the same until the day I die, and I'll pass it on to others as well. You have three options when it comes to dating and preferences in life. Your first option is if you are unable to attract your preference, then you need to possibly go ahead and find out what is well, I'll use the term type. If you are having difficulty attracting your type, You need to find out what your type's type is and work to get more in alignment with that so you become that which you want, that which will appeal to what you want to attract. It's the first option. If you're not feeling that one, your second option is, well, find out whose type you are. So, who is it that is gravitating towards you? Start letting them people get a chance to get some play. So, go ahead and change your type to that of those who are gravitating towards you. Third option you have, it's the only other option. There's no other options on the table. A, B, or C. There is no D. You can't bubble in your own answer. Choice C. Find out what type of pet you prefer, dog or cat, or hamster or gerbil. You can do something exotic. Find out what kind of plants you like, and y'all get those, build a little ecosystem, and you can die alone. Because nobody else has time for your nonsense.
There you go.
You want to go ahead and be difficult and stubborn and obstinate. Who do you expect to deal with that, and why? It's very simple. Get into alignment with your type. Get into your type's alignment, or get into the acceptance of those whose type you are, or die alone. That's it. There's no magic to it. It's that simple. Um, you're not gonna find another answer. You're wasting time. And why would you want to set yourself to be a martyr for a cause that has no guaranteed result? No, that's what the choices are. And you can find happiness there. Yeah, that's what you're interested. You can find fulfillment there. You can find someone that challenges you and makes you better, and you can return that and be a force multiplier for them as well too. Do that. Don't get lost in the weeds with the social media and internet nonsense and unreality TV nonsense. Come to the real world. Come to reality. It's much better here, I promise. That's all we got.
There it is.
All right. So that concludes our show for tonight. Hope you guys got the definite good gems, and make sure that you guys tune in to us next week. Always going to have you dope shows, and always going to give you the correct narratives going on. So you can watch all the Breakfast Club you want and watch all these other platforms, but to get the right correct narrative with some gems, make sure you tell a friend and tell a friend to come here on Manifestations platform so you can get the right ones. And if anybody disagrees or doesn't have a line up with what we're saying, then guess what? Come down here and see us.
See me.
Let's get this thing cracking.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah,
so with
yeah.
that being said, we're definitely up out of here. And I appreciate you guys for coming in. And salute
Like,
to my
share,
brothers.
subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe, baby. All right.
There you go.
Peace.
Yay.
On the album, we do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.